One. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Countless Heroes, that crazy 16-player West Marches style campaign where I, Logan, take on 6 of my players at a time and hear myself because I forgot to turn off the stream. At least it's working.
Yeah, that's true.
To have that
Yeah,
6
that's
second
true.
working. We're working. Here, listen to yourself yell at yourself. Hello, players.
Hi.
Hello.
And hello to our amazing audience. Starting off very strong tonight. Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone.
Woo.
Since we're starting off so strong, I'd like to ask if Tessa is around, if she could post that link to the Twitter, the official Twitter post about the show, so everyone can share it as we get warmed up here. That would be. And I do have one announcement. Some of you may notice that that our wonderful community manager here cast greater heal on herself sometime in the last few days. So I have turned off her healing ability. So until episode 100 for the next 4 days, you have a much higher opportunity to take out Fennec, our dungeon boss, and become the dungeon boss yourself and get your perks. I am going to put out there that if somebody who is not a member of the cast becomes the next dungeon boss, that person will get a bonus 3 hero points that they can give out, and we will send them a Nerdsmith pin. As long as that happens by episode 100. So, if you guys want to take a look at that and figure that out, start fighting amongst yourselves, and we will make that happen, hopefully. Alrighty. All you got to do is throw bits in. The bits, follows, links, donations, all of that hurts the dungeon boss. I don't remember how much each of those does, though, anymore, so you have to figure it out. I think $1 to Donuts, the making a donation through our Streamlabs donation link, which I don't think we have anywhere, but Fennec posted of it occasionally, is the most damaging. I think it's 5 damage per 1. I don't know. You have to figure that out. 5 damage per penny, I think, on that one. So, I don't remember. You know what? Experiment. Somebody try it. I don't know. Anyway, remember all donations go through Nerdsmith. They take a small percentage, and the rest all goes to the Trevor Project. So it is not like we're keeping it. We're not asking to get paid here. We're just raising a little bit of money for charity and having some fun. So, all right. Well, and to support our network, which supports us greatly. So, oh boy, there it starts. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a recap from yesterday. It was Sildana's day out. Sildana's day off? Sildana's...
Not off. It was out.
Saldana fails conversations.
Oh, something I meant to mention beforehand, but Lark, you, I don't know if anybody told you, but you just spent the last couple of days over in Highwater, along with Jastra, Rydell, Stokes, and Javea, as they all went out for the celebration, the carnival that's out there in Highwater. Very high, not high class, but upper middle class sort of festival. A lot of fun games and things. A bunch of the goblins went with you. About 40 of the goblins went with you, and you guys just had a blast. And it was Rydell's idea. It was actually Stokes' idea to invite Jastra. And then you all decided to go, and you had a wonderful time.
Excellent.
So we can talk a little bit of it here and there. If you have some ideas about what could be at a festival like that, you're welcome to kind of throw them out there.
I got a couple ideas, but nothing major.
And that's that. So, all right. Alrighty. Other than that, they took Sildana around the town yesterday to try to get her to communicate with all of the people that she needs to make amends with. And unfortunately, they weren't at home. They were off at Carnival. And Lark and Jastra and them will just be getting back this morning. So that's part of what you'll be doing today. But Sildana did meet one person, and who was that?
Earl. That was That wasn't awkward at all, or tense, or dramatic, or emotionally, dramatic at
I'm not
all.
guilty at all. It's fine.
That doesn't have long-term consequences or anything.
No.
No,
not
not at all.
I got reminded that we got 500 bits in a single donation, so that means Electro Swing.
Yes.
You can wait till the song's over until we discuss what happened to Earl.
Yeah. What did he give you?
I think this is the perfect music to discuss what happened with Earl.
Yeah,
It
what
sums
did
up
he
your entire
did he give you
relationship.
something? Did he give you something?
He may or may not have given me 4 envelopes, one of which had a flyer for the new Goa Logan. Fuck you.
Hopeful future. That's what it was. Hopeful future? Is that what?
They might be leaving out a
if you
few of
have
the
hope,
details.
we can help with the symbol of the Earth Goa, which is the
Alchemical symbol
alchemical
for
symbol of Earth, which is a triangle with a little line.
Yeah, that was the time.
We need to get a shorter song. All right. So what happened? What else happened yesterday? Anything exciting?
We got
Saldana got sloshed.
Yeah.
Flynn didn't
we-
get
Really
GB again. He missed GB again.
Damn it!
Yep. We
And then
did.
used him against us.
We did also drop off but we set up the ones for the incantation that will take place later in the month.
And why did Owen and GB miss each other? Cox.
Cable.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's to say.
Cable. There you go. Cox Cable. That's what it is. Evidently, there was some developments today. Some good news and bad news. They think they may have a improvement, but not a fix. So,
Is it smoke signals?
you know,
At this
getting
point,
there.
it might be.
All right. So there we go. The song's over. Go ahead and go back to talking about the sadness.
So, yeah, that I don't think anything else really happened. The other letters that Earl had were like basically he
Bad
felt like
blood
his
starts playing.
yeah.
To be
Earl was
fair-
sad.
To be fair, none of y'all know what's
No.
in those letters. She didn't put
Oh, no,
that.
right.
But out of character, you do. In character, y'all know shit, nothing.
You all know shit. What?
Shit, nothing. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's shit nuggets. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's
There was
not-
a
Yeah,
new.
because that's something I say.
Yesterday's episode was very appropriately renamed Shell Shocked by our wonderful community organizer. And that's not just because of the king or the former king.
Yeah, that's the other important thing that happened. We found what Bro did. I forgot.
Can you say it with a little more laughter? We
I
what
forgot
Bro did.
completely. That's why I'm laughing.
It's hilarious.
I was like, how did we
Shell
forget that
Shocked.
Yes,
big
seriously.
plot development? I don't know how we forgot, but yeah, we
Because Wilbura is not a really important or likable character. You guys forgot by the time you turned around and started walking down the path. You guys were giggling and laughing like literally a minute later.
We did.
It's this
We did
game,
find
Logan.
him.
We laugh to cover our pain and
To
panic.
forget, yeah.
Yeah, we have to do something, otherwise we'll just sit here crying the whole time.
We found him with bullet wounds and his rifle and Beefroche pelt missing.
Hmm.
And a failed
And-
investigation save.
And a failed speak with
And
dead.
a failed speak with
because
the dead.
Yeah, because it had already been used on him at some point.
Many questions.
yeah,
That can't be answered yet.
many concerns about other party members.
Okay. That brings us to today.
New
The
year.
New year, new you, new dice. Wait, that was a different show. So new year, new you. Welcome to we'll talk about it at our ad break. I'm lost. So anyway, it's morning. What do you guys want to accomplish this morning? Anything significant?
Find out how to get rid of the pulsing headache that Sildana is dealing with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the first thing Owen does is, if there is anyone passed out on his couch, he gets them toast and coffee.
All right.
Too fucking drunk to go home. Yeah. With a 10 constitution, yeah, I was gone.
I like how literally everyone else rolled over and like 19 was the lowest.
No,
I rolled
15
a
was the
3.
lowest. Mario
I
rolled
rolled
a
a
okay.
3.
Saldana, give me a wisdom save at disadvantage for last night.
Oh, goody.
Who stayed over at Owen's?
So I
Okay.
rolled a
Saldana.
9.
So Owen, as you're coming out, and I assume you're still an early rise for being a military man, even drunk, even if you're still drunk or hungover, and you're getting coffee. You see Sildana's passed out, probably in a chair. Maybe she made it to the couch, but sitting next to her, open, are those 4 envelopes. She was able to get the letters back into them, but she didn't have the cognitive ability to put them back into her bag. So they are there if you want to take a look, and she'll be out for at least another hour.
Is it to the point where even looking at them shows what they are, or is just do I see papers?
I would say she got them mostly back into the envelopes. You would have to pick them up and pull them out.
All right, then in that case, he's going to pick them up, put them in her bag, and then just not look at them.
All right, good man. So Lark, you're coming back into town with Jastra and everyone on a red eye caravan, and so you're coming into town in the morning. You get Jastra home, and she basically passes out. She's done for the day. I mean, she might be up in a few hours, but in the morning she's not going to be there. You, however, someone who probably can sleep anywhere on a caravan or anything, didn't have a problem with that. So you are up, rested for the day. What do you want to do?
I had nothing planned. I probably continue working on the stations at the temple.
All right.
I would assume that they're
Soxy?
not quite done yet. So
No, they're not. Soxy, what are you doing?
Well, she would have gone to work, obviously, but she probably also, depending on how far along the guild hall is, spent her first night there. I don't know how far it is along in being rebuilt.
It is not quite the ability for most people to be able to live there, but considering some of the places you've had to live over the past year, you're fine with it. It's like luxury.
Okay, so she probably spent the first night in her new room trying to decide if she's going to be able to stick it out and stay there on her own.
Lark, what are you doing?
Did Javea and Jastra get a chance to discuss her being hired on as a doula?
Yes. Let me roll on that. Let me think about that for a second. I'll come back to that.
That would be my only question about our time.
Think Ocean and Pimble probably left Owens at some point to go home because they could probably make it home. So she would have gone to the nature temple in the morning. So after making sure Pimble got back to the house, which they probably did last night. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Same kind of thing. Nathan and her would have gone home that night, but
Right.
the next morning she'd probably just go to work. We just go to the shop
Okay.
and work.
So Donna, it's later for you, but when you wake up, what do you want to accomplish?
She doesn't really have too many plans, honestly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she's just
So-
still like thinking about the conversation with Earl yesterday and what she read, and also just thinking about she'll eventually have to speak with Jastra and Javea and how awkward and how weird that's going to be for her.
Okay. So, we'll just move right along here, and we'll get the 6 of you over to the Beer Forge for lunch. As you guys head on over towards the Beer Forge, the city is very light today. There's not a lot of people out and about. It's a day that people take off the New Year's. Start the new year off right with relaxation, family, friends, hangovers. And a lot of the shops are closed. However, Beer Forge is not one of them. As you head over there and you pop in, it's pretty busy. One of the few bars that are open. Well, actually, most of the bars are probably open, but it's pretty hopping. And nobody in there interesting, as I've used the term before. None of the other NPCs or adventuring groups right now. However, Ivy's there, and they've got a good band up there. The Raging Flumps. They've got a huge. It's just a bunch of normal people. They do Celtic punk, and they've got a big banner above them that says the Raging Flumps. This band stinks is their tagline. Yeah, so it's pretty hopping. They're not too loud. Not like the Giants that were here loud, but it is still a rocking house. Not incredibly busy, not like a shepherd's night or something, but it's a good crowd. Let's have the O's go first. Oshin and Owen, you guys arrived first.
I'd probably be with Owen though, since I spent the night at his place.
Oh, true. All right, so we'll throw the S's in there too. So the O's and the S's. Everyone who's paired up.
Now, when you get like this, just generally something with bread, something with a lot of grease. Generally like a good BLT is a good way to start. Maybe like some eggs and gravy, and then
What is a BLT?
It's I'll explain it later. I'll just fix it for you.
All right, anything to get the headache to go away.
Ivy, what's your best hangover cure?
Deep fried egg tubes covered in gravy. Covered and smothered, I call it.
That'll work.
All right.
I'll have one of those and then a coffee. And then
Okay.
Oh,
So you get this this plate that is this nest of hash browns underneath, which is something new. They haven't had this before. On top of that is a waffle battered egg tube. Looks like their little sushi thing, but uncut. And you're pretty sure there's not the good part of it in there. Their sushi, breakfast sushi. It's just the egg and the breading. But the entire thing is covered with gravy and then melted cheese and grilled onions.
Okay, that sounds fucking amazing, to be fair.
yeah, that's almost exactly a dish at Waffle House, except it's scrambled eggs.
Sounds amazing.
Well,
So,
technically,
let's see slides out
the
over.
egg cube is kind of scrambled. It's just
Kind of is, yeah.
rolled.
Sorta.
but more
It's
of
more
just
like
an abomination.
Well, it's kind of like an omelet that was just done wrong.
that got cursed.
It's what an omelet would be if you told an alien to make an omelet but didn't give any
Yeah.
instructions.
Yeah. That's
There you go. Yeah.
So Saldana's just slowly, painstakingly eating at this. Not quite like this is the most grease and junk food she's probably ever eaten in her entire life. So she's taking her time with this.
How about you, Oshin? How you feeling after festivities?
We're okay. It was just we just drank wine. I'm usually okay after that. Didn't have anything crazy.
True.
That's
Imble
good.
was stumbling a bit, but you were doing fine.
How much exactly did you drink, Saldana? You look like you drank the entire keg. You look like you feel horrible.
I do feel horrible. I don't know how much I drank. I just know that I don't really drink that much ever. So I don't know. I'm just so tired and I hurt everywhere.
I think you had about 2 glasses of mulled wine, but I think that hit you pretty hard.
Well, when you
2
don't
beers and a
drink
shot.
and when you don't drink and you're that small, yeah, it does hit you pretty hard.
That's fair. I don't drink either, so it probably would have made me pretty messed up.
True.
Lark
Yeah.
and Mike see each other on the street and start heading in as well.
Hello, Mari.
Good morning. Good morning.
How have you
Morning,
been?
You too.
Been okay. Better lately. So
The city has survived without me. Good to know.
barely survived without you, Luck.
Look at the state Saldana's in. Across the bar.
All but one.
Yeah. How are you doing,
Al-
Saldana?
Although I think she would be in a much worse state had she come with me, so.
Of that, I think I can
Oh.
agree to, Locke.
Yeah, probably.
How was the fun and games? Was there a petting zoo?
Should have been. I hope so.
Yes, there were many petting zoos. One at each corner, I think they're called.
That's a lot of petting
I
zoos.
spent most of my time in the sand art area.
That definitely checks out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There was carriage sledding and ice gliding.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it was quite the time.
Carriage
Mhm.
sledding.
Carriage sledding.
Explain that one a little bit.
You put a carriage at the top of a hill, get in it, and you get pushed down the hill. It is quite fun.
It
Was,
sounds a little terrifying.
was this like sanctioned by the carnival, or did you just do this?
No, this is an event. It's all planned.
Good to know.
And if two of them did not get down going straight, they would end up colliding with each other, tumbling, and it was quite fun.
Is Jasper alright after that?
Alright then.
She was not involved in any of the hits.
Okay. Good.
I can't imagine Jastro wanting to be in a carriage that was just careening down a hill with no control on it.
No, I can't either.
Especially not pregnant. That's not safe.
Yeah.
She was
Probably
screaming, laughing,
Sally,
having
take the
fun.
wheel.
Screaming and laughing are not the same thing.
They're really not. Take it from me, they're really not. I know at least Javea had a good time.
Well, that's good.
She has been restocked in gingerbread cookies.
Ah, New Caspians.
No, I think there's only one Caspian.
Yeah, I don't think that she's naming them now. That'd be really morbid. She's been eating a lot.
I wouldn't rule it out, though, to be fair.
I wouldn't either.
Not impossible.
Imagine 1,000 little gingerbread men all lined up in a room, all named Caspian, like a sea of Caspians.
Boo!
Somebody out there
no.
appreciated that. Someone.
No one here.
You guys never appreciate any of them.
I
I have
appreciate it.
expected a Muppet
Thank
Walk
you.
from that one.
You almost got it, but we're too close to 100. I'm not giving you the satisfaction.
Come on, man. Only 3 more episodes and only 3 more Muppet Walks needed. Come on, man.
He'll forget. We'll
Right.
catch him. It's okay.
I haven't forgotten yet. You haven't gotten one in a couple of weeks, except for ones I've
She
wanted
got one
to give
yesterday.
I got one
And
yesterday.
I said
Logan.
right before it happened that this one is for free. All right.
So, Danny, y'all have anything you got to get done today?
Nothing specific. I've been spending a lot of time over at the guild hall. It's getting pretty good. It's not done yet, but there's a lot of room there.
Certainly
Probably
shaping
should
up.
find where that pelt is.
Yeah.
You could always ask the folks over at the I forget the name of it, but the place with the tanner and the blacksmith.
Tip to tail.
Tip to tail. We could always ask them if they've seen him around recently or if they've seen anyone with a belt.
That's an idea.
That's a good idea, because, I mean, there's not a lot of places in town that would take a Feroche pelt. Honestly, I don't even know that Tip to Tail would if they knew what it was.
Well,
I mean, doesn't Pip do a lot of business with them? I think they would recognize
does, yeah.
something of a ferocious.
Yeah, I
thing.
assume they'd recognize that.
I hope so.
With the
there's a
size
very
and
deep
stuff.
friendship. I do.
And
have a
if
spell,
we can't-
that can help.
Well,
maybe
if we can't
it.
find it that way, we can also try and find the. I would not be surprised if it turned out to be the UNT folks we spoke to the other day, because they did specifically mention it. So we might try and talk to them as well.
All of that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll finish breakfast, and we'll get on our way.
How are you enjoying that new thing there, Saldana?
It's a lot more than I expected, honestly, and I'm not quite sure I'll be able to eat the entire thing.
We can get you a to-go bag.
Can we not?
You could probably give it to Foster.
I was about to say.
Also, would probably love that.
We should check with our resident vet and see if any of that's bad for bears.
He's a celestial bear.
Oh, that's true.
He literally
You have to
eats
say he's not a real bear.
everything.
He ate a Fate Eater. I think it's okay.
He did do that, didn't he?
Oh, that's true.
He talked with his god for a second.
He is now on a mission from God.
Just a glowing version of Lar.
Was his god Ursali's mount? Like, what did he talk to? Like, not Ursali, her mount, her bear mount.
I don't think we'll ever know, except for maybe Locke.
He's not talking.
Lean over the table and say in giant, Foster, will you tell me what you did? Who'd you talk to? I really want to know.
I'm not sure it works like that. He counts as a celestial, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but he
speaking
understands
animals
giant,
doesn't-
which is what I speak.
He understands giant, but he can't talk back.
That's fair, yeah.
So
He's just
meh.
grumbling to you.
Yeah.
Aw.
All
Are
right.
any of you signing up to be part of the guild council?
I was wondering about that, actually. What exactly is that? I mean, I wasn't paying attention when they talked about it the other day. So I didn't catch all the details.
Maybe you're not the best choice.
I vote for Soxy.
Was someone putting Soxy up as the best choice?
No. There's only been one
Okay.
person that
Callie is the only one who has shown interest.
Well, I don't know the full details of it just yet. Then again, power is not exactly something or any form of some sort of higher up position is not something I wish to pursue at the moment or at all.
Yeah, and I got my hands full already.
You were already disqualified too.
I mean, honestly, we might want to have more than one person do it because there's so many of us and we don't all ever make it on the same day. So we probably want to have at least 2 or 3 of us that are doing it, right? Because that way, even if one of us can't make it, there's someone else that can. Will they let us do that? Because
I do not
otherwise I
know.
don't know.
It does not sound like how politics work.
We can have a representative and then a secondary representative backup
Well,
person.
I think
I don't
we're all-
know.
we're all going to be representing the organization at some point, but this is going to be the official position. Like, we can still talk individually, but this is the official liaison. I honestly don't know if anyone's quite gearing up for the position other than Callie. Callie wants it. I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's a good spot for her.
We've got a lot of
I've
people.
got no
Lads.
issue.
Write it in the book.
You mean
Okay.
write it in the book and have people vote on it?
Yes, whether they're interested or not, and then whether they would like to vote for Callie or not.
We could write a list of names, and then everyone mark next to the list of names who they want. That way, you don't know who voted for who, so no one gets their feelings hurt or something.
That's actually
So-
not a horrible idea.
So not
That's-
Owen, not me, and not Saldana, but probably everyone.
We could do that.
I'm
It's
alright
going to take
with
up an
not
entire
being
page in the
included.
book, but that's all right.
I'm alright with
Got
not being
enough
included in that
pages.
list.
Yeah, just I was gonna say we should probably let folks self-nominate because it's not everyone's dream to get into politics.
Yeah.
No, I've had quite enough of it, honestly.
It's not my favorite subject, as evidenced by the fact that I had to ask you guys what was going on with it exactly.
I can't because conflict of interest, and Owen isn't qualified. He's disqualified, actually. That's the word I was going for. He's very qualified. He was just disqualified for this.
All right. Well, I mean, we could just put Callie's name in because we know she wants it, and then if anyone else wants to put the name in, they can, and then we could do the yes and no thing. That might be
Yeah.
the easiest.
Sounds like a plan.
That works for me.
All right. So tip to tail then to ask them about the pelt and everything, and Wabura.
He has been in there before. I think they would recognize him. Or no longer, but if we mention his name.
They would know who we're talking about, probably.
In the
Yeah.
pelt. He was wearing that. They would recognize the pelt if it was brought in as well, I think.
That's the hope.
Probably. Pip made sure they knew what it was a while ago. So they probably
That's
would.
true. I forgot about that, but he did.
Yeah. So it can't hurt to try there first.
They might just know something that Wabura said or did in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
All right. You guys pop out of the beer forge after you have lunch, and you head over to the Tip to Tail, which is just right down the street, not very far away at all. Unfortunately, they are open. Never mind. So the doors are open, and but it looks like the butcher is the only one that's open, which is Birch, Basil, and
Briar?
it's Birch. Briar. Yes, it's Birch. So it's Birch. So yeah, Birch is over there. He's working this large, kind of beefy half orc, a bit of a pot belly on him, but definitely a strong upper body, a lot of lifting, and he's wearing kind of an apron. It's a very clean apron, but his shoes kind of defy the idea that he keeps clean all day. And he walks over behind his little meat counter there. This kind of magical cold chest that keeps the meat fresh. And what can I do for you?
Well, we were actually coming by seeing. Have you seen Wabura in the last couple of days?
The turtle? No, I haven't seen him.
And I don't suppose you know if any of your fellow shopmates might have seen him or talked about him in the last week or so.
I've been open. I've been here all day, every day. I don't think they've seen him. Sorry.
Well, how about, have you seen anyone walking around with the pelt he used to carry, or perhaps a firearm similar to the one he used?
So is he getting out of the trade? It seems a little premature. I mean, he's had a dry spell, but he seemed okay.
Unfortunately, I believe Gura's past.
You believe or you know? Maybe you should ask him.
We found him.
Ah, that's too bad. What finally got him? One of the dire bears?
No, it seems to be a bit more humanoid in nature, given that it was gunfire.
Oh, rifle. I told him those things were dangerous. Give me a bow or a crossbow any day.
No, as in someone else's gun.
Still, they're very dangerous. Maybe he should have worn some brighter colors. He blends in. Maybe somebody shot him they thought he was a deer or some sort of turtle.
Quite often got mistaken for a turtle.
I mean, it's got the shell. It looked intentional, from what I gathered. Especially with the pelt gone.
And the gun gone.
You accidentally killed someone. You didn't want anyone to know. You'd still take that stuff. It's valuable.
Do you happen to remember the last time he was in?
I'll check my records. He walks over to a notepad. He's scribbled out some stuff on some parchment. It looks like a week ago he bought some meat for bait.
Did he say what he was hunting?
Anything that wanted meat. Like I said, he had a dry spell.
Well, if I can ask you a favor, if you don't mind, if you see either that pelt or any firearms, especially if you see his, just let the guard know and have him tell me.
Oh, sure. Who are you? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, we know each other. I forgot.
Yeah. Once or
That
twice.
was Logan. Very good. Yes, I will. I'll let them know.
Yeah, thank you kindly.
You want to buy some meat for your holiday festivities? Or maybe for attracting wild animals?
Actually, you know what? How much is just like a full ham?
The full ham, like as an uncut, like a live squealing?
Not quite.
No.
Like just
No.
the cut.
So he'll give you the price. I don't know, probably a few silver.
He'll go ahead and just get like a full ham.
Okay.
Why are you going to be feasting later, Owen?
Couple different reasons.
You want it cured, or do you want it?
Not cured, probably.
Yeah, okay.
One, just in case we need bait. Two, if it's not bait, it's dinner.
All right, that's fair.
I will have some as well.
You enjoy that.
I'm good.
It goes well with the goblin stew.
Do you have any, like, little giblets or something that would be good for cat size?
Stew meat?
Sure,
I
that
got
works.
stew meat. Yeah.
All right,
Well,
I'll take a pound of that.
it's only a pound for silver. It's a silver for a pound of stew.
She hands it to Oshin.
Take it. It's kind of. Yeah. I don't like the smell. It smells bad.
I'll
I can
double wrap
carry
it
it
for
now
you.
if you want.
Smell
Put it in perfume.
I'm taking this from real life. Meat smells worse when you stop eating it. Like 6 months into being a vegetarian, it is awful. It always smells rancid. It's so.
Your kittens are obligate carnivores, so
I
you have
know.
to feed them meat. Please don't try to make them something crazy like
I
vegan.
wouldn't. No, I would not. She would not. But that's.
You guys
It
laugh,
smells-
but people have tried that.
Oh, I know.
No, I'm
I
fully
know.
aware.
Anywho.
Buffalo smells the worst out of all the meats I've been around. Just so you know, buffalo has a really strong bad.
Buffalo
Goes
always
for
does.
both. It's going to go for both the food and the place as well.
Oh, all right. Alrighty, so
Is it too soon to head back out to the forest to try to talk to him? Or has he been moved?
Well, we
I've already
got
been
him.
discussing with
Yeah,
him.
he's been moved, and Caddy used spell, so he doesn't, so he's still there.
Decompose.
Yeah.
I tried
but
to communicate with him, but unfortunately, it looks like potentially whoever killed him already tried to communicate with him, and my spell failed,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have to wait quite a while before I can try talking with him. At least,
Well,
to be safe, 10 days.
We've
That
got it
seems
narrowed
really
down
strange.
a bit. We've got it narrowed down a bit. He was here a week ago, so
We have a
he
time frame, but we're still not quite sure when he died, or how long he had been dead.
we could probably try it earlier if you wanted to try it. So, in 4 days or so would be. He went out 6 days ago to put the meat. Then that would be 4 days, and then you can probably try to start talking to him, just in case. If you want to, you don't have to. It's your.
Logan? Did he
Yes.
did he live in the woods?
you're not sure where he lived.
So I wouldn't have known. Okay.
You saw him camping in the woods occasionally, but you don't know if that was permanent residence or not.
Has anybody gone to his camp?
I wasn't even aware he had one. I'm not sure.
I have seen him camped a couple times. I do not know if that was where he lived, but it may be worth checking out.
We can
That
Unless
sounds like a
anybody
good
has
idea.
an idea where to go next.
That's honestly the best place I could think. If anything, that might have been where whoever killed him might have also gone. Potentially. That's just something I'm expecting.
While they're talking, you guys will see Mari pull out a twig and concentrate for a minute, and then cast Locate Object, focusing on that pelt specifically. So within 1,000 feet of me, and it lasts for 10 minutes, I can know where it is, and I can detect where it's moving to.
Okay.
Did we leave Tip to Tail, or are we standing in there talking about this?
I assume you stepped outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I almost hate to say it, but given the discrepancies, should we go ask Zekna Feddles?
That was a thought.
The only thing I'm worried about is the fact that he might potentially be a suspect, and that'd give him a lot of heads up.
Yeah.
That's true.
And even if he did do it, we've got to work with him, because that's how we're getting to Lamina when we go.
Well, or at least that's one of the ways. Depending on who we believe, whether it's Wabura or Zekna Feddles, he may or may not actually know as much about the island as his book says. Which is concerning for me for reasons of if we go back, I'm going to be even more confused, but that's all right.
Yeah.
A bridge to cross when we get there.
I thought they'd already made the plans for that. The Sobrazarium did. For us. Could be wrong.
Well, for today, why don't we go check out his camp?
Okay.
Decide where to go from there.
Okay.
Sounds like a good plan.
Do you want me to roll or anything to find it again, or?
Not yet. So you guys are going to head back out into the forest and start lurking and start taking them to the couple of different places you've seen Wabura camp. Is there anything you wanted to get or grab before that? The snow right now is about about 12 inches deep. So it's pretty thick out there in the forest right now.
Yeah, Saldana's just making sure she is bundled up and properly ready for that kind of trek.
Extra socks.
Are they selling snowshoes anywhere?
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Do
I'm
they
sure they
exist? Okay. I would recommend that, being familiar with the forest.
Okay.
I would recommend that to the group and see if we wanted
Can
to
I
get
just like scuttle on top of the snow on my all fours? I don't know how we want this to work.
How much do you weigh?
150? Because we've described me having like bug feet.
Yeah,
You're lighter
sure.
than I thought you were.
She's a bug. Bugs
Bug,
weigh
yeah,
like
makes sense.
nothing.
If you laid on your back, we could have used you to slide down the hill.
No.
She's got her wings on her back.
I saw
And I think the
the
only
the
ones who
idea
could
hit
comfortably
Mike before he said it, and it was amazing.
I think the only ones who could actually slide down with her and not harm her are Rosie and Finku, honestly. I think the rest of us are a
Alright.
bit too pit.
Probably
Everyone
true.
Mount Saxon,
Yeah, I
Saucy.
don't think that, Lark, I don't think that you could do it.
We just sank.
So 150. I'm going to say that you could probably do that, and it would work a lot like snowshoes. That under the right snow, most of it you'd be fine. But occasionally, you're going to find something too soft that your foot will break through. But
Okay.
you're also being supported by a bunch of other feet. But yeah, you distribute that weight pretty.
So yeah, Saldana will get you snowshoes then.
Okay, so you guys pick up some equipment and start heading out. Lark, go ahead and give me a survival check.
Mari just wild shapes into a wolf.
Okay.
And I don't lose concentration. I can still have it up while I'm in E shape.
Wolf form.
I have no idea why it rolled 3 times, but it was a 13.
All right. So you find the area that you think might have been the first camp, and doing a inspection of the area, you don't find anything. So that takes a little bit of time. Heading on to the second one, give me another survival check.
$19.
Okay. Here you are definitely sure of the location. So somewhere underneath all the snow would be where his camp normally would be. If it was broken down or if the tent fell over, you wouldn't be able to see it. You can see some kind of lumps under the snow, little small ones, but could be a lot of things.
This is definitely the place that I remember him returning to a couple times. I'm going to start clearing away some of the snow.
Mari
Yeah, I'll
will
help with that.
How do you do that, Mark?
to dig.
I mean, you could have
Well,
brought shovels.
I have a
You knew that was gonna
shield.
happen. Okay,
I'm going to use it as a scoop.
sure. All right. All right. So you and a couple of others start to kind of scoop out some of the snow with whatever you guys have on hand. Each of the people that's actually doing the scooping or digging, give me a perception.
I'll-
And Mari, you can do yours based on smell.
I'll probably be helping.
Yeah, Saldana would be too. She's not going to be standing to the side for all this.
I didn't mean to shock you so much, Mari. It's okay.
You said perception?
Mine was a 16, Logan.
Okay.
13.
19.
18.
17.
9.
This is my first roll on my metal dice. It's 19.
Oh, yay.
Both of those rolls I've done so far have been on my metal die.
Saldana.
Oh, dice love me.
Saldana, you are actually in the middle of the woods now. We are over here in the camp.
So she's putting snow back into the thing. No, it's just perception check. So as you guys are kind of digging, clearing this hole, anything over a 15, it would be 16s and up, would definitely kind of hit this either scent or sight of blood. It's kind of a brownish and frozen at this point, but it was definitely a layer on top of just a couple of inches of snow, along with a lot of footprints and things within them.
How recent
So-
does it seem?
With the amount of snowfall over the last couple of days, you would say it's been a few days, maybe 3 or 4.
All right, so there was a bit of a struggle here. Question is, how far is this from where we found him?
About a mile.
We have gotten shot here and then tried to get to the
Making it
city.
to someone that he knew.
Was it a mile closer to town that we found him?
Not really, just kind of laterally between the town and your friend's place,
Prime Heart.
Prime Hearts.
Could he have been trying to get to Prime Hearts?
Possibly.
Perhaps.
Searching, is there anything in this area other than just the blood? Does it seem like it's...
Give me an investigation check.
I'm going to look as well as for signs of a struggle or anything.
Lark, go. One of you roll, the other one gain advantage. So whoever has the better score roll.
I already rolled.
Oh, okay. Well, what'd you get?
With advantage, I got a natural 20.
Oh, all right. Lark, you
Yep.
go ahead and roll too.
He's got it.
Yeah, but you might get something different. So go ahead and roll too. 'Cause you're technically
14.
Kind of different things. Okay, 14
With advantage of 14.
So Lark, as you're kind of looking around, you see up on some of the trees, you see some blood splatters as well, and you're kind of getting this picture that definitely some sort of blunt trauma, like something hit them sharply. And as you're kind of digging through the snow and you're looking at the patterns of how the blood kind of existed in the snow, and you've seen it before, even though it's covered up, you can kind of take slices of the snow and see the patterns. You're pretty sure that he was drugged away from here, or something large was drugged away from here, bleeding or covered in blood. With that nat 20, that will also kind of jog your memory that there was absolutely no blood found at the previous place where you found Wabura. So that's what was been bugging you this whole time, is that there was no blood there.
Well, definitely seems he was killed here and then dragged out.
Probably
Question
trying
is,
to,
why?
But
probably
why?
trying to hide evidence, or perhaps, I'm not sure, but they're definitely trying to hide something.
Well,
Trying to make it look like it happened somewhere other than here, so that people wouldn't come look here,
Exactly.
maybe.
it's possible.
Was he found at anywhere specific, or was it just a random location?
It was just in the woods.
He wasn't
Probably
being
just-
set up. I mean, somebody else was not being set up.
It was on the path to Prime Heart
No,
and
'cause-
Callie's.
Callie went slightly off the path, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, towards her house.
Yeah.
The way that you go towards where they live.
Are there any other objects of the camp of interest, or is it just the basics in the blood?
There are some things left in the camp. It doesn't look like anything was taken. The pelt and the rifle are not here. It's just a pot, the old campfire, a little stove, things like that.
You know, honestly, I don't think it was the UNT at this point, because it doesn't seem like whoever did this was exactly sporting about it. And I don't believe any of them had firearms.
No. Do you think he was dragged that way on purpose?
Perhaps.
Okay. That might narrow it down if someone wanted to. If someone was trying to show him to Prime Heart or Callie or someone.
But then why leave him?
So they find him as sort of a warning, maybe? I don't know, it might not be for them though, because Pip he hunts with them a lot, right? So maybe, I don't know, just
Well-
someone took his pelts and Pip hunts with them. I'm more concerned about him, I think.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned with is that there was no guarantee that we were going to find him there. It very well, the snow could have fallen fast enough. He was just buried and wasn't found. I think if someone were looking to make a message with him, they would have made sure he would have been seen.
Exactly.
That's
It's like,
true.
with the condition he
Yeah.
was in, we wouldn't have been able to find him until snow melt.
It could just be they tried to drag him as far as they could from his camp so that no one would be able to find him, and then they couldn't drag him any further. But
I don't know. I just think dragging him to the path seems like a bad idea because that's more because he wasn't that far off the path. So if you wanted to hide him, you wouldn't put him
But
that
he
close.
passed it. He passed as just a normal snowbound, as far as I can remember.
The person dragging him may have been interrupted, surprised by somebody on the path, and had to leave the body.
There's also the fact that
Maybe.
he's a mighty large and pretty heavy
I was
gentleman.
just thinking the same thing.
Something big had to have moved him. And
Something strong.
we happen to know someone who happens to have a firearm and a rather strengthened friend.
The cowboy.
Cowboy and Chicken Fingers would be an MO for this.
Why would they want to kill him? And what kind of
Why?
information would they want to get out of
So
him?
I thought the other firearms are magic. His was magic because
I didn't think the Cowboys was. I thought
it
the
turned
Cowboys
rosy
was-
blue. I've never seen him shoot it, but I've seen. Yeah, wouldn't.
Perhaps
That's
not
what
all-
happened, right? When Rosie tried, it just didn't shoot anything. It just turned to.
Perhaps not all guns can fire magic. Perhaps there's a way that they could switch between magic and non-magic. That's
Or
just a
s-
theory. I know nothing about guns.
Or Wilbura got shot with his own gun. Someone could have picked it up.
That's another possibility.
Yeah.
Probably caught him unawares while he had it set down and then picked it up and then shot him.
even if the cowboy and them did do this, I mean, at least from our recent interactions with them, I don't feel like they would have done something like surprising Wabura to kill him. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The last time we worked with them, they seemed a little more honorable than that, or at least the cowboy did. I don't know about all of them, but the cowboy did.
And
I don't-
he's the one with the gun.
Right. I don't feel, at least from the last time we talked to them, I don't feel like he's as likely. It's not impossible. Or maybe they were told something about Wabura being a really horrible person and paid to do a job and they thought they were doing a good thing. I don't know. We could go ask him. He might know other people that have guns in town. Isn't he still around at Blackthorn?
Possibly.
Potentially. Yeah, at this point, my leading theory is probably someone used his own gun.
Yeah. I don't know, I really don't think that it was a coincidence that that's where we found him. I don't. It's just. Mm.
One of my questions to myself is what information could he possibly have had for someone to kill him and then try to speak with his corpse?
That's the
Maybe.
thing, too.
Maybe someone's looking for Zeknar Feddles, and so they.
He and
I
Zeknar
don't know.
didn't seem to get along very well, or at least that's what I gathered from him.
That
Yeah, but he would know. He might know where he is, or something, and then
Could it have been
What we
someone
said.
looking for Pip? Because
Well,
Pip's
the
had some
one-
interactions with Wabura.
The one thing I'm thinking is if I had based the entirety of my career on the writing of a singular book, and someone who I had worked with before started going around telling people that I was a hack, that certainly sounds like motive.
I didn't think that his book was wrong. I just thought that it was exaggerated. He was good at knowing about what he knows. So if someone was saying, I don't
I
know, he's
think-
not saying that he's wrong. He's saying he's just not as amazing as he
Or that some of the stories weren't his own either.
Yeah. That doesn't make him less accomplished. It just
You never
means
know.
he's
That could still
trying to
ruin
entertain.
That could still ruin someone's reputation, having people know that your stories are not your own. That can definitely ruin a reputation and
Yeah.
your credibility.
Or at least not entirely your own. I mean, from what Pip said, it sounded like Wabura basically said that a lot of the information, like the animals and the plants and things, were accurate, but it was some of the social interactions with the Feroce and the chitin that weren't entirely truthful. Like he exaggerated that part of it.
So Wabura doesn't really talk to anybody. He talked to Pip. That's pretty much it. I don't think that he would have gone around telling anybody because he doesn't really go to the city.
Unfortunately, these all feel like questions we'll have to ask him directly, but we still have to wait before we can. I have no other ways that I can try to figure out what could have happened.
Can you ask him about other people that have cast that spell before? Would he know that?
No, he wouldn't be able to comprehend things that happened after his death, only in Blythe. He wouldn't
I
probably
think,
know that someone tried to question his body.
I think it's probably safe to say that if he has any recollection of who killed him, then that'll probably be who cast the spell as well.
Yeah.
More than likely.
That is assuming he wasn't shot in his sleep.
I'm just a little bit worried that by the time that we can cast a spell, whoever it is will be gone. Because they might know. Especially
Well,
because I really don't want to discount that they were taking him where they were intentionally. Primeheart is a pretty good cleric. He would also, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that he could also ask, and that might be why they did it. So he can't ask, so they can leave and get 10 days away before anyone knows.
if they do get away, I can still use divination to try and figure out where they might be going. I still have ways to figure them out, but I would just need to be able to ask the correct questions, and I would need the correct information to do so.
And if
Yeah.
they're at all walking around with that stuff, I'm going to make sure the guards are on, know to look for it. So if he's walking around with a firearm, he'll stick out like a sore thumb.
And if they're walking around with the Feroce pelts, that's also a good indicator.
Mari the whole time has been actively kind of walking around the space to make sure that to like look out and make sure no one's like near
Okay.
or like near the conversation. Just letting you know.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. Yeah. Natural 20. That was my metal die. Thank you, Die Hard Dice.
You were gonna need you were gonna need a pretty high check anyway, but that'll just about do it. You very, very faintly in the air, you do smell a little smoke, like a fireplace or some sort of campfire.
You guys are gonna hear her growl and then start walking closer to where she smells the smoke.
Okay. It's probably a fair ways away,
Yeah.
probably a half mile or so, but because
Is
of what
her... Sorry.
because of the
is
form
her
you're in, you can tell.
Is her locate object still up? At this point, it's only lasts for 10 minutes.
I'd say no.
Okay,
It's
awesome.
far out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna start walking closer to it.
Owen's going to stealthily keep pace behind. Like
Uh,
a good 30
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
I don't think Mario's
Follow-
going to send us something.
Yeah, it might be something, it might be nothing, but we'll find out.
I'm gonna hang back a little bit and work on casting Speak with Animals so I can talk with Mari because she's a beast right now.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah? You're
Following,
not
but-
wrong.
Following, but a little bit behind so they can hide and stuff.
Yeah, so Saldana will also use stealth as best she can.
All right.
Yeah. Walking quietly as much as possible.
Not super easy to do in the middle of the
Lark
snow.
is singing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So you, as you guys are coming around a corner off in the distance, not too far, but up kind of in the next couple of snowbanks, you see that there's maybe almost about 2 miles at this point away from a Lark or
Primeheart?
Primark. Thank you. Maybe almost 3 miles actually. There is a little cottage, just a very small little building, maybe just a hunting cabin or something that's up here in the snow. The log cabin, although the logs don't look like they're from trees around here, but as the forest, a few miles away, but as the forest, the Skyward Forest gives way to other types of trees that it hasn't quite usurped and taken over yet. But yeah, these logs do look imported, which is kind of strange.
How did something like that get here? And how long?
I don't know,
None of
that's
you can
weird.
think about being in this part of the forest necessarily. It's a huge forest, so it could have been here a very long time.
Is that what you spelled Mari?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I forgot. I literally just forgot that she did speak with animals. I was like, what? Well, I
If you want, I can-
smelled a campfire.
Yeah, she smelled the campfires.
If you want, I can try to figure out if going there is a good idea or not. Because I
Can't
have
hurt.
all sorts of paranoia feelings.
Gee, I wonder what could have brought that on.
I'm sure there's nothing that cabin that could worry us.
It's fine.
So Saldana is just going to get like a spare coat or a shirt that's a little too light for this weather. She's going to lay it down on the snow. That way she has something a little more to work with. And she's going to get wait, what were they specifically that I made them?
As
Yeah, she's going to get her divination runes and she's going to ritual cast augury.
Okay.
Lark sees you doing this, trying to prepare an area. Saldana, I have the perfect item for this. And he brings out the picnic blanket. I have used this on many occasions. It comes in handy.
All right.
So Donna, you recognize this picnic blanket.
No.
You last saw it on a cliff face.
Yeah, no. She just goes, no.
It's a little stained.
Lark, please, no.
Shall I put it away?
Please.
Very well.
She'll ritual cast augury, and she is going to ask if going to the cabin or let me double check the spell real quick. Because it has been a while since I have cast the spell.
It's
Did
a
it?
fun spell.
Didn't we see the picnic blanket when we went to the Shadowfell and fought the Saldana that was there?
Saldana wasn't there
It didn't.
for that.
It
Saldana
didn't look
wasn't
like that
there.
though. It was all torn and ripped up.
Yeah.
This is the actual
The
blanket.
pattern was the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
I honestly do not remember you ever grabbing that.
Yeah, he grabbed it the first time it was up on the cliff.
God damn. But yeah, she's going to consult and ask
He's
if
used
heading
it
to
in
the
game
cab.
several times.
I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember.
So many
I don't think
times.
around Saldana, but yeah.
Or Nyx, because Gabby does not know. Anyway, so she's inquiring if going to the cabin and speaking with potentially whoever's in there is safe for us to do.
Safe.
That's the key word, ain't it?
It's always the key word. Just gotta think.
It's
What
contemplation.
color is the fire gonna be?
How are the runes going to appear?
Oh yeah, shit. You wouldn't have fire. That's just more.
I use runes.
Yeah, not your own hair.
Nope, I didn't inherit that from my mom.
Unless you're just a late bloomer, you never know.
Pretty sure I would know. Pretty sure I
Last
would
session, suddenly Soldado de Costa.
Ta-da-da!
know.
We're just gonna say
This
completely
whole
safe,
time.
and then a meteor hit it anyways. We'll die.
This whole time, Sildana's been pretending. This whole time. She knew all of.
Well,
No
you all
charisma,
think
yet I
that-
deceived all y'all fuckers.
I mean, you all still think Owen's human, so I mean, it's possible.
So they come back as Wheel.
Well, looks like it should be safe.
All right, let's head on up.
When we get closer, I will use my divine sense to get a better feel of the place as well.
That's a very good
Okay.
idea.
So you start to scuttle your way up there and clump and through
Only
the
one
snow.
of us.
Well. A few minutes later, you're near the cabin. Mark, you start sniffing around the air using your divine magics to sense evil, and you don't sense any evil. You don't sense any ill intent. No fiends, fae, or undead.
Okay.
Something smells good though. It's cooking something. You can see once you get up to the cabin that it's extremely old. The wood is just very well preserved. It's been very well taken care of over time, but it's had to be repaired. And now that you're up close, you see that this cabin very easily could have been built back when these type of trees existed here before the Skyroot took them over. But it was a very long time ago, and the cabin, as I said, has been repaired recently, along with maybe some magic that repaired it back to a little more former glory instead of using patchwork of just mostly tar and things. But it is extremely well done. It's extremely well sealed as well. The stones are old, as I said, but the mortar has been replaced, and it seems like, or repaired in most places. So it seems like somebody's been working on this cabin recently. Pretty good.
Should we just snook or should we? I don't know.
I mean, what else are we going to do at this point unless one of you can see through walls?
We've
That was
gotten
Like that.
we've gotten no sign of any wrongdoing so far. Why can't we just knock?
I'm gonna use detect magic just in case. Get that started.
That's fair.
Is it
That
ritual?
takes 10 minutes for you though.
No, it's my Furbolg thing. I just
Yeah.
do it.
All right, so you pop on your detect magic. While the cabin itself is not magic, there's definitely some magic within beyond the walls, but you can't see the items, so you can't tell what school.
I had it for 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, okay, now you can open
As
the
long
door.
as you don't lose concentration.
Da-da-da.
I should look around
Da-da.
before I rage. I don't. I'm not gonna knock the door then rage. It's fine.
Hi.
Ugh.
Ah!
No, rage, then knock. Rage, knock. Ah!
Da, 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 da.
He hates that door.
Doors,
I
man.
hate that door.
The worst.
Always in the way, always closed when you want it to be open. Taking my interaction, can't draw my weapon.
So we knock, someone opens, what do we say?
Oh God!
Whoa.
All right,
Introduce
Uh,
us.
Foxy,
As
knock
you guys are-
on the door.
As Soxy starts to walk up, the door opens, and the person who was inside, who obviously could hear you talking and arguing outside, is a familiar face. Zeknar Fettles. And he sees Soxy first, who's walking up, and he gets a big grin on his face. Well, hello! Come in, come in. It's a little cramped, but you're all welcome. And he kind of
Okay,
grabs his cane
that's-
and walks in a little bit.
Mari's gonna change back into her normal form and then go in.
That's...
Hi, Zekna.
So it is like a studio apartment. I mean, it's fairly well sized. You could easily all sit if there were enough chairs, but since you got someone to sit on the floor, maybe, or just stand. Even standing, it just feels awkward because there's a lot of people in this small cabin. Obviously, was a hunting cabin at one point, but it has everything you might need, including indoor plumbing of some sort. So must feed to one of the rivers or something. So it's got everything you need. So hello, and as you walk in, it's a modest cabin, but it's very well furnished. He's got some nice chairs and tables. Looks like he maybe made them from the skyroot tree, the banyan trees, and he looks like he's got some wicker that he's been weaving and working on over there. And there's a nice brick fireplace he's repaired, stone fireplace, which is going and roaring right now with a nice mantle. On top of the mantle, his rifle, the one that you had seen him with before, is sitting on top of it. There's a big bearskin rug on the floor, which some of you probably aren't too excited about. I assume Foster stayed outside.
I have not met this guy before, so
Okay. What else? He's got a small bookshelf with some books next to a pipe, sitting next to the stove, which has the fireplace actually has a little cauldron going that's got some soup or something in it.
I know. I think Saldana, Soxy, and Owen are the only ones who actually met
Mhm.
him because of the dinner party.
Oshin did because he got Zeknar to sign
Soxy
the
the book,
book
yeah.
for Soxy.
Ah, okay.
And so
It was
he
probably
reaches-
pretty brief. Yeah.
He goes over to kind of behind a little half wall that sticks out on one side, and then he pulls up from what you thought was another bookshelf, but obviously it's not. He pulls out a bottle of whiskey. Says, "Friends means celebration. What can I get for you? Drinks? Yes." And he starts
No.
grabbing the three glasses he has.
I don't drink, but I appreciate the
Well, that's
offer.
good. We only have three glasses, so only
I
only
don't
two
plan
of
to
you.
for
I'm
a very
alright.
long time.
I'm
All right,
alright.
I'll drink for the other ones of you.
I'm looking around to find what was magic. Just kind of like
Oh
looking
yeah.
at his.
So as you're looking around the fireplace, the fire specifically, the hearth, the logs in it are magical. It doesn't look like they ever burn out. Maybe something that he's had with him for a while. They're small and compact. Looks like you could easily take them with you. Definitely wouldn't take up much room in a bag of holding. It looks like he doesn't have to keep chopping wood for that. Other than that, let's see. There was something else, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It's the same things he had on him before: his cane, is magical, and I don't remember what was on the cane exactly. And then, of course, the top of the cane
Air
has
shell.
the air shell on it, which has no school of magic, but is magical.
Okay.
And it's a fist-sized hunk of air shell. I would like to say you haven't seen one bigger, but you've seen Syl's new
I've met
toy.
Syl.
Well, I meant undone, but you've met her new boulder.
Didn't expect to see you out here, Zekna.
Well, when my last hope fell through, shall we say, fell off a cliff, of any chance of getting back home, I had to do something, and so I started coming out here and hunting, and I found this little cabin, and I left notes and waited around for a month, and nobody responded. So I started working and fixing it up.
You've been here over a month?
Just about.
Interesting. We got friends who live in this area, and surprised you haven't run into each other.
I've run into a couple of people here and there. Pip and I ran into each other in the forest a few days ago.
Did you?
Yes. And he'll drink some of the whiskey. He smiles at Soxy. It's so good to see you. You remind me of home.
Well, that's nice to hear, I suppose. How long were you there exactly? I don't remember from the book.
Logan doesn't remember. I think the excursion was 3 months? Soxy, I don't remember what you said.
I don't think we ever decided.
All right.
I don't think we did.
I think 3 months is probably a good enough time. So yeah, about 3, maybe almost 4. Just enough to make it from, well, I don't know. Hold on. Actually, I can answer this question. One side to the other. We have a map now of Lemon Island.
Oh, snap.
Is it in World Anvil?
No, it's not World Anvil yet because I haven't finished the rest of the continent, but I'm working on it.
Dang it.
If the website would behave, I would be glad to get back to it.
Seriously.
So somebody make sure the website behaves.
Technology and internet stuff. You're always a blast.
The robot overlords want to keep us busy.
So it would have taken him almost a month just to go from the port to the opposite side of the island because they basically cut a swath straight through, and then they took ships that had to meet them, and they took ships back around and did docking. So yeah, I would say 3 months is about right. And that's if they just kept walking and didn't do anything else. Of course, they would have taken time to explore and things. So three and a half months is about.
I mean,
So,
that's a decent visit.
Yeah. Have you thought about trying to get back with just a solo party, not having to get a full expedition going?
By myself? He points at his cane. I don't do very well anymore. Not as surprised I used to be.
Well, why don't you just, didn't you do it with Wabura last time? Why don't you just bring him along?
Oh, Wabura. Yes, he was there. He was a guide for a while. I would not want to work with him again. Hot-headed.
Hot-headed.
Quite. Didn't some of your friends tell me that you were having issues with him when you met him?
I mean, I've met him a couple of times, but he never seemed the type to just blow up like that, or seemed like the hot-headed type. Cryptic and vague, yes, but hot-headed, I didn't get that.
Angry and difficult, then. Let's leave it at that.
Have you talked to him recently? Maybe you can make amends.
It's interesting you should say so. I think he wanted to make amends with me. I haven't seen him, but he left something on the porch for me the other day. his prized pelt.
Can I make an insight check when
Yeah, I
he
was gonna
says
say, do I
that?
You
believe
can ask
that?
me if you believe him.
Yeah, do I believe him then?
You can make an insight check.
I don't trust my dice. I'm using roll 20.
Should I make my own roll, or are we trying to?
Yeah, go ahead. Make your own roll.
Grazie. That is a 20.
13.
Apparently, no dice like virtual or real.
He's having worked with it. You haven't seen how Saldana's been rolling lately, have you, Finn? Having dealt with him on several occasions, and Saldana probably having the most intimate, maybe Saldana and Soxy having the most intimate understanding of him within the group. I mean, you talked to him longer than anybody, really. Well, Joe too, because you were there. Who else was there on that night?
Owen was
Just
there. He was
yeah.
he was Soxy's +1 because she was
Yeah.
worried she'd have to talk about Lamina
That's
and didn't
Yeah,
want to be
I
the
think-
talker.
Out of this group, I think it was just Saldana, Soxy, and Owen who
Okay.
met with him.
And then Soxy, I think, we had you talk a little bit outside of that with him. Not much, but a little.
Yeah, she
Um,
did her best to like talk to him, but also avoid him because she doesn't remember anything, so it could
Right.
go very poorly.
His mannerisms are extremely are very normal. They're not different than you've seen him before. If he is lying, he's very good at it. You're always, of course, always welcome to make your own decision up. You don't have to you don't have to rely on the dice to do that. You just to make your mind up for you. You just cannot decide. You don't have definitive like, yes, he's absolutely lying. I feel like he's lying. But I'd never give you that anyway. You just get feelings here and there. You got to make your own decisions.
Well, do you know what time that was presented here? Didn't leave any info.
It was about 4 days ago, I think. I'm sorry, I've been dealing with things,
What kind of things?
reminiscing mostly, working on new plans, trying to figure out who I can talk to about funding our next expedition, trying to think of ways to make it worth their while. No one is interested in study and understanding. They want profit.
If you don't mind me asking, who'd you talk to?
Well, I've talked to anyone. I mean, I've made my way through every social gathering over not in the past month. I haven't done much, but before the king was dethroned, rightfully so. Here. But before the king was dethroned, I went through every social circle I could think of, and most of those are the same people that are there now. They didn't seem interested then. I doubt they would be.
Very interesting. I would have expected more people to be interested.
There's no profit in it. There's nothing valuable there for them to exploit. At least not yet. I'm sure there will be at some point, and then all of a sudden it'll be all the rage to go there. I just want to go there and study and meet the people and learn about their culture, and that's not enough for some people. Not in this climate. Although I hope with the new government and the university might be interested in finally doing a proper study.
It's definitely worth a shot. In the groups you were talking to, did you talk to? Well, yeah, they would have been before the Adventuring Guild, right? So you didn't get a chance to talk to them, I imagine.
I have not spoken with the Adventuring Guilds, no. Who are they?
Like the Birchfield Institute and the Steel
Oh, the
Syndicate.
Birchfield. Call themselves an education center. All I've seen is them treasure hunting. I keep trying to tell them everything they pilfer, everything they find belongs in a museum.
Okay. I don't think that You know, if you just put out there that you just want to study, then I'm sure someone will come to you.
Well, please show me what these people are. I've been looking for, 2 years now?
Well,
Eventually, just got to be patient.
And I am being patient at this point. I took the month off for the holidays. I will get back to it very soon. Hopefully as soon as my leg heals up.
Something happened?
I heard it's during the expedition. I say that I hope it heals up. I just hope the pain goes away.
Ah.
I would imagine that slows you down out in the snow, not able to get about.
You are correct, my tall friend. You sure you didn't want a drink?
Not unless you have milk.
I had some goat's milk for a while, but I'm all out right now.
do you still have the Faroche pelt with you?
Yes, I put it into my chest over there. He just kind of points to a keepsake box, a big old, footlocker type chest.
Do you mind if I take a closer look? Well, Burrow never was keen on letting people see it too close.
I wasn't. I barely looked at it. I saw it. I looked around to see if I could see him, and I assumed that he just wanted to apologize. I let it go. But yeah, it's over there. You're welcome to take a look at it. You're welcome to take it if you want. I don't enjoy having it around.
All right, he's gonna go ahead and
Maybe give it to your friend. Maybe he can bury it in whatever proper fashion for them.
Yeah, it's certainly a good idea. I think we might leave it here for the moment to discuss what to do with it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's just in there. So you go over to the locker, you pop it open, and there's all sorts of keepsakes from different expeditions in Lemon Island and things, and maps and stuff in there, all neatly kind of arranged and packed. Right on top, very neatly folded, is the pelt. Into a nice little square bundle.
Taking out and examining it, is there any sign of like blood or any any
There's a little
markings?
bit, yep. You're not sure how old that blood is necessarily because it's fairly well dried, but yes, there's definitely some signs of blood. And being organic, the blood should have come off. It shouldn't. So it's probably fairly fresh. It's not like something from when the pelt was originally removed.
Zekna, I'm Mari, by the way. Do you want one of us to look at your leg? We have a few people here who have healing magic.
I've had the best look, although I'm sure you're better. But no, I'm come to understand that this is the way that life will be. I had a very a bad spill with, well, let's just say that I got hurt, and the locals' medicine was not. Well, they attached button leeches to it, and it was not exactly the best of magics. But they eventually did get me to a shaman who was able to heal what they could, and I was left with just a little bit of a limp and a little pain. It's all right. I've come to appreciate it. It's just one more memento.
Solid offer, that's all.
That's a good way to think of it.
Have you had any other visitors besides us out here lately?
No other visitors at all. I thought I was fairly well tucked out of the way. I was so surprised to hear the door knock. I thought maybe it was Wabura at first. Much more pleasantly surprised. He smiles at Soxy.
Do you two have a thing?
No, she reminds me of home, that's all. I was very excited
No.
I have been, making notes on flirting, and it seems like there's a past or a bit of a connection between you two.
I think admiration is more the word.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly that it's flirting, Lark, but thank you for keeping track, I suppose.
can add that to your notes with Pip.
Yeah, I will cross that one out then.
Thank you.
Now, it's odd that you didn't exactly. I just found out that for some reason people aren't too willing to go on the expedition. Is there any chance is there anyone you can think of who might like put bad word out against you two, or might be trying to do the same thing as bit competitive, anything like that?
No one that I've ever heard of. Most people just think that it's either too far away, too expensive, not worth their time. I mean, those are the excuses I hear. It is a vast undertaking. The previous funding source, well, they went bankrupt. So maybe that has something to do with it.
How much do you estimate the next venture will cost?
You know, from what I've learned, and considering I will hope to stay a year, much more. But there's now a small village there at the edge where the docks are, and it's probably grown since then. The coast there has some small villages that take the travel and can make their way over there. Although, as I've said, I don't think that they found anything worthwhile of trading, so they don't do it often. But not exactly what I want to. I'm thinking 100 men, mostly people looking to study, alchemists, scientists, magic users, people who want to learn about the shamanistic ways of the tribes there.
It's true that it's not exactly close. Pip and I had to come a long way to get here.
Yeah, looking at the university, asking around might be a good start. Find volunteers.
Well, we should probably get out of your hair after you.
All right.
That's true. And thank you for letting us look at the pelt. We'll ask Pip. I don't know. I'm not personally very familiar with how the Farosh like to handle the dead, so we'll see what he wants to do.
Thank you.
It was lovely to see you again.
Yes, it was nice to
very
see you again. And thank you very much for signing the book for me. I appreciate that.
Of course. It was a pleasure. So I guess there would have been that visit. I apologize. Or maybe they could have met in town for that.
I was assuming you just found him in town.
Yeah, that's fine.
On the way out, Lark's gonna kneel on the bearskin rug and kind of just put his hand on it and just kind of say a small prayer to himself before walking out.
Okay.
This is we're definitively out of earshot. Well, that certainly makes things a bit more complicated.
But we
4
have a
days ago.
timeline.
So,
Perhaps I
So-
should just wait 6 days then to speak with him.
yeah.
Well, except that we don't actually know if it was Wabura. It could have been whoever killed him. Because the thing is,
Yeah.
from what Pip said, it didn't sound like Wabura was going to give up that pelt for anything. I mean,
No.
the pelt belonged to his friend, at least that's what Wabura said. And so he wanted to keep it with him to keep his friend with him. That doesn't sound like the kind of thing he would have gotten rid of.
Well, what
He
I'm
was
thinking
pretty
is,
attached to it.
it almost seems like if someone didn't understand that they had a strained relationship, it seems like that'd be one way to get his attention as a threat.
Also, as perhaps a way to try and frame him.
There's also that.
But the question is, who actually benefits from that? And the only thing I can think of is someone who recognized what's in that little stick of his. Because we talked to
Could be.
people as freely about that air shell as he did to us, and someone recognized that there's a source of that over on the island, well, all of a sudden that's going to get a lot of people interested.
That's true. Someone who wants to go to Lamina Island to collect it and mine it or something like that. It could be someone else who wants to start their own expedition. I mean, they'd have to be doing it really quietly because obviously he hadn't heard about it. The only people we know of that want to go to Lamina Island are the Sub-Rosarium, but we
They
don't know what they want us to get there.
they
And I
just
don't
want
think
they just want one thing though. It's not like they're sending us to mine as much airshell as possible or anything. Probably
And I-
No,
plants or
but-
something.
And I get the feeling this isn't something the Sub-Rosarium would do.
It seems
Uh,
unlikely.
And if they
Logan,
did, I doubt they'd do it with a physical fire.
Yes.
I have a question.
Oh, I have an
when
answer.
Oh boy, when we went to the New Goa, the hideout, was there anything that looked like they were making guns at all?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Might have just used his own weapon to throw us off the trail.
They probably did. Yeah.
Well, not specifically us. Probably Zagnar or
Anyone
someone,
that found him.
whoever.
Well,
Yeah.
That could
It
also
might also, though, maybe also specifically us because of where he was.
Well, I was just going to say, it could also explain why he was so close to the path through the forest. Because if someone was trying to frame Zeknar Feddles for some reason, then having Wabura found with a gunshot wound like from the rifle that Zeknar has, and then later someone saying, oh look, Zeknar's got the pelt, that would be really suspicious.
Okay.
Mari, how many times can you pull that little trick finding an object?
Quite a
Which little
few.
trick?
And I can do it too.
Should we try seeing if the gun's within 1,000 feet?
I can do that. Yeah.
We know the pelt's there, but
Perhaps before we move 1,000 feet from the cabin.
Yeah.
yeah.
Have
Yeah, so
either
she'll-
have either of you seen the gun? I think you have to be familiar with it, don't you?
I've been within 30 feet.
I've seen him too, and I would have.
As long as you met Wabura, you've
You
seen
can-
it.
Yeah,
so-
I've met
You can
Wabura.
also
Okay.
also in 5e you can also specify a generic item. You could just say a firearm, and it lead you to any firearm,
The closest one,
or the closest firearm.
which could very much be inside his
Yeah.
cabin. So
Yeah,
But I'm
But
specifically
yeah,
But all right.
focusing
Saldana-
on that gun.
yeah.
We know there was one above the fireplace, though,
Yeah.
so it has to be more specific than that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and I
Mari's-
think we would have recognized it as being Wabura's
if you've
rifle.
seen it, if you've met Wabura, you've seen it. So that's fine. That's all I need. So who's doing it?
I can.
If you want to save some of your spell slots, I can do it.
Doesn't bother me.
I'll go ahead and Saldana will cast it.
And for the first time ever, Sildana, I think immediately you get a ping. You start heading back just slightly towards the cabin, and then down a small embankment to where the little creek is behind his cabin. And laying in the water there is the gun. And that's where we're going to take our break. See you guys all in 20 minutes.
Gonna do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Countless Heroes. Let's take a quick moment to run through our sponsors. Or maybe not so quick, because we love our sponsors. I'm going to start by talking about World Anvil, the most robust world-building and campaign management software that exists on the internet today. It is amazing. You should go take a look at it, worldanvil.com. Also, you can go look at some of the most amazing articles that we have done. Angela, mostly, Heather, a bunch. But together we are succeeding, even though they're doing most of the work. The Goa page is done, the Airshale page is done, or at least mostly done, until we learn something new about them within the world. And they are so well organized over there that we just couldn't put them anywhere else. So they are over there, and they are amazing. Go take a look. WorldAnvil.com is an amazing group of people, and you should support them, because we do, and they support us. But we would use them probably even if they weren't our sponsor. Honestly, they're just that amazing.
Yeah, it's an awesome site, and it's easy to put stuff in.
And it's getting easier all the time. They're improving the user interface and the management stuff, so go take a look. And it's free. For like 99% of the features, it's completely free. And no, they aren't like the most essential features. They are features they think that most users may not necessarily need. But if you want to expand the usability, or if you see the value in what they're providing, then there's a way to do that. So light up the Forge over there. Let's also talk about our other sponsor, our brand new sponsor for the new year, Die Hard Dice.
Heather, yours is much cooler.
It's the 10.
Yeah.
They are very, very... Oops, one just fell, but they're very pretty.
Over there. There it is.
Nice.
Todd, over there at Die Hard Dice, is the designer. He creates the look of the dice, the metal dice, and they are very much unique and theirs, especially the Mythica line. If you've seen other ones that kind of look like that, they are not theirs. And Todd is the one that created those designs. The Gothica line has the rounded, like Mari's there, the rounded D6s. Those were designed by Todd originally, and this idea of putting the enamel within the subsections, and then Soxy up there has the Mythica line. And they did all of this by hand. They tested themselves. They're just really incredible. It's like jeweler quality level of craftsmanship. It is the best dice I've ever owned. So I would highly recommend that you go and take a look at them. And if you would like maybe a little discount, we got you covered. You can go, when you check out, use the coupon code Countless Heroes, all one word, and you will get 15% off your first order. You'll also tell our sponsor that you love them and that you love us. So, and as I said a little earlier, new year, new you, new dice. All right. Next step is the Nerdsmith. We are proud to be a part of the Nerdsmith network. If you want to check out the more amazing content over there at nerdsmith.org/content. The website, for the most part, is working. It's just the new membership thing that's still not working for 3 months now. But it is very close. I think I discovered the major problem tonight. We'll hopefully have that up and running, and should any slight slowdowns should now be stopping. However, we found out that it was our shop plugin that was creating the issue. So the shop is maybe delayed, but the new subscription thing should be up and running hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully, but we're gonna make sure it's right and not just put it out something that's broken. So, but anything that you would experience over there by like looking at the content, listening to the shows on the links to their direct pages, which we're going to be adding to the certain pages that we're having problems with and things. But no, you can go over there and you can see some amazing shows, learn about them, learn about the creators of the shows. We have 40 some odd creators. I want to say 48 creators now, creating 17 different shows, over 700 hours worth of content, and more is just coming every single day. So it's really incredible, and we've got a lot of new people coming on the network in the first quarter of this year. Got a lot of big plans for this year, yeah, so that's that. And then if you'd like to support us, you can go over to nerdsmith.org/donate and use the old membership section right now, or you can use one of the links that Fennec will be posting here to support us with one-time donations over at our Streamlabs. Or what else? That's it. Or another amazing way to support us is to just share our voyage. Come along with us, be a part of it. Come onto our Discord, chat with us, talk with us, grow our community. Help us grow that this community of crazy, kind, respectful nerds that we hope that we come across as for the most part. Maybe not necessarily in character, but out of character definitely. And you can see that on our Discord every single day. The amazing supportive nature. If you're struggling, you can come on there and you will get support, guaranteed. It's what we're doing, and it wasn't what we set out to do. It's just kind of how our community has grown, and we love it. So go on, take a look at our Discord, or share us on Twitter or Facebook, and just become a part of this journey. We'd really appreciate it. All proceeds from this, for the artist proceeds that come through us, go to the Trevor Project. We do not keep a dime as artists of this show. Only Nerdsmith keeps a little bit of money to help pay the bills. After that, the rest all goes on to the Trevor Project. And as we get these monthly fees and donations and things, we'll be sending them on to Trevor Project as we can to make sure that we keep up with that. So we'll have a running total here of how much we gave last year, and then every year since, every month since, we'll try to keep that running tally, probably on our website somewhere as soon as we can get all that functional up. But we will have that somewhere, because we want to be very proud of how much we've supported the Trevor Project here. All right, that was enough jibber jabber from me. Let's go ahead and get back to the suspicious action. Do we want to do a quick recap for anybody that might have just be joining us?
Well, we
Your audio seemed to have changed, Joe.
Yeah.
I forgot I moved my mic away during the break. Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So after finding Wubura's body a couple days ago and putting him on ice, so to speak, we went out to go check out his campsite that Lark remembered seeing. Found a lot of blood. Mari smelt smoke, led us to a cabin, and inside the cabin was none other than Zeknar Fettles, aka suspect number 1. He openly admitted to someone having dropped off the pelt. We talked to him about it. He seemed on the up and up. Upon leaving, we tried a locate object and found the gun on a bank of the stream right next to the cabin.
No, in the stream. It's definitely underwater.
Oh, in the,
like it was
in the
thrown
stream.
in. Hastily thrown into the stream. Half covered by soot.
Great.
So you stand on the banks of this creek, the fresh water supply for Mr. Man here, flowing fast enough over to the larger river that it doesn't freeze over, and there you are, standing staring at this gun, very obviously thrown into the deeper part of the water here.
Someone clearly wanted to get rid of the evidence.
And quickly. I mean, I have to be honest, though. As much as Zeknar's a little weird, I don't really feel like he's stupid enough to throw the gun directly behind his house if he's trying to hide that he did it.
Well, there's also the fact that he wouldn't have been able to move Wubura, even if he didn't have his leg out. I doubt he could carry quite that size of a person in the snow alone.
Yeah, I was the one that really had to do a lot of the moving, so...
Let's take a look at the gun. And he'll also see if there's not going to be any tracks. Snow's been falling for 4 days, so yeah.
There may be...
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, he's going to try and fish out the gun and see if they can examine anything from it.
How are you going to do
Oh, got some
Probably in waist deep water where it's at. For well, maybe not Owen, but for
Foster.
One day, I unprepared controlled water.
Foster, can you go grab that gun for me? With your mouth.
All right. Yeah, Foster will just plop on in. He doesn't care. And just and he just kind of digs around under the water, pulls up a fish, looks at you. You give him a disappointing look, and he tosses it. And
No, I don't.
down and-
I cheer him on. Take your
he
time.
He throws it up on shore. He tosses it up on shore, then goes back under and gets the rifle and brings it, plops it down in front. Goes and eats his fish.
What Owen had said earlier that you may have missed was he was gonna go try to look for footprints or whatever, and he immediately dismissed it. But me knowing Snow, even if there were tracks from a little while ago, there would be small indentations where the
Depending
snow
on how much
filled
snow
in.
has fallen, yes.
So I'm actually going to look while they're looking
Sure.
at the gun around
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
and on the other side of the bank as well to see maybe over there.
Can Mari assist him in that? Because she wanted to look for trucks as well.
Sure.
Okay.
20.
Okay.
Not, yeah. obviously.
You will find some fresh and even some day, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 day old tracks that seem to come from the cabin down.
Okay. Do the tracks look like they have any cane marks beside them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think there might be some sort of cane like marks, and then with a 20, you think maybe even that this person has a limp, at least by the fresher track.
Okay. It wasn't natural though, so just so you
I
know.
understand.
He has been down here. These tracks show a limp and a cane, and they're several days old.
Well,
Some are fresher.
I think that tells us most of what we need to know now, doesn't it?
But it is near his cabin. There could be any number of reasons for him to have come down here.
And not notice the gun?
I was about to ask how, before we went to fish it out, and how, if I had not cast my spell, how obvious would it have been that the gun was in there?
You probably wouldn't have known it was there. It would blend it in very well. You would guess it would be very easy to miss, especially in the deeper water there, unless you were specifically looking for it. Along with all the twigs and branches and things that are down there.
Right. I mean, if it wasn't him, it would have been quite easy to miss it unless you knew what you were looking for. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I'm not saying he did.
Yeah, he would have no reason to look for it either. If he's telling the truth, he thinks that Wilbur is alive. He had no reason to look for a gun in the water.
That's true. I mean, if he thought that Wilbur left the pelt for him to sort of do like a peace offering sort of thing, then he must still think Wilbur is alive. Unless he's lying to us. He said he thought that we were Wilbur.
That's what I'm guessing on, because what other reason is there to come down to this particular spot multiple times if you're already struggling to get around?
Well,
Fresh water is the first thing.
Fresh
Fishing.
Yeah, fresh water.
Food.
Is this the closest possible location to it?
Yes, absolutely. I did say that earlier.
I missed
Twice.
that.
Almost like I was trying
Maybe-
to put suspicion on any of your deductions.
Maybe they put the gun down here because they thought he'd see it if it was a threat. But he's not looking for it. Maybe it was closer to the bank and it just fell
Here's the
in
thing.
deeper or something.
Here's the thing, is that if they were trying to threaten him, they would be so much more obvious. I think this person would be so much more obvious if they were trying to threaten him. What I think they are trying to do is frame him is more of what I'm getting along with. We already know that they had not that great of a relationship. Someone would have to have known that. Someone would have to have known both of them to know about that sort of relationship in order to make that happen, in order to make it seem like Zeknah had motive.
Technically, they didn't have to know both of them very well. They just had to have access to the information. I mean, Pip wrote all about it in the books, and I don't recall us telling anyone that I necessarily would think did this. But
that was just a theory, though. My theory is that it could have been someone that they both knew, who wanted to get something from him, and then wanted to frame Zeknah for it for whatever reason that the motive is.
Someone who was on their expedition, maybe? Because that would be someone who would know that they had interactions, because they weren't friends or anything after.
that's true. It would have to be someone who went on the expedition with them, but who... I mean, we could ask him. He's right in there.
That's what I figure we might as well do. What I'd suggest is we're bringing the gun up there. Just question about it. If he ruffles his feathers, that's skin off our nose. If he starts to get worried one way or the other, it'll probably get us some information. And then after, if it seems that he's still on the up and up, we can brainstorm with him.
Well, there is something that I can try. It's the same thing I did with Tybalt, so that way I could get his surface thoughts when it was too hard for him to talk. I could try and read his thoughts while you're talking with him and try and figure out what first pops into his mind when you bring up questions. Because what he thinks is definitely going to be different than what he says.
Okay.
That is a good idea.
The thing is, I'm not sure... Logan, this is something that I was wondering. With my read thoughts, channel divinity, it doesn't specifically say that the person would know that I'm using this on them. So would that be something that Saldana would have to worry about, or something?
I'll have to look into it.
I'll share you what the specific thing says for this particular one.
I think the way that the spell detect thoughts works is they can't tell unless you like push in for more information. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that's how that spell works. So
yeah.
I don't know if the channel divinity is going to be like wildly different.
Yeah, I put on Roll20 on what that specifically does. Because it's not exactly a spell, it is just my channel divinity.
Again, I appreciate you putting it there, but I'm going to be using Roll20 just because Roll20 has the newest errata in it that just came out in November.
Okay.
So if the spell was errated, I don't know that Roll20 has updated that yet for their SRD.
Well, it's not
done a couple spells before.
It's not a
it's not a
spell.
spell?
It is a class feature. It is my feature as a knowledge cleric. It is a channel. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it is a class feature I have called Channel Divinity Read Thoughts.
I thought Read Thoughts was a spell.
Yeah, that's why I was
That's
saying
detect thoughts.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's what I was saying. Was the way that the spell works? I'm almost positive they don't know until you try to push for more information. Then they have to make
go
a
look at
save.
Read Thoughts.
So,
But mine works a bit differently. Though,
but hers,
because it
yeah,
does-
hers.
Hold on, that's why I need to read it. So that's under classes, official cleric.
and it's something I get at 6th level.
At some point, we're probably going to have to tell him that he is no longer with us.
Yeah, I figured. I don't think it'll be terribly tragic for him, given the situation. but-
No.
Well, he might feel bad because, he thinks that he wants to make up. He doesn't seem too opposed to it. It's not like he hates her or something.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I do think Owen's right, and we're probably going to have to ask him and maybe confront him with the gun just to see what kind of reaction we get. I mean, Owen's with the guard now, so there's that too. Technically,
And like I said-
he's officially investigating a murder.
And I could be helping out with that investigation when you bring it up and everything like that. I can get an idea of what his
Did you
first
report the
instincts and
murder
thoughts are.
and file paperwork on that, Owen?
He would have.
Either
Yeah.
way.
He
Okay.
would have when they found the body.
Got it.
Same time, he would have told people to keep an eye out for the Pelton gun.
Good thing I was here then.
Yeah, especially since we're about to start an adventuring guild, it's probably a good thing if we don't get in trouble with the city again for going outside the bounds of what they consider all right. But if we're working with the guard, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't extend to everything you might want to do, but in this
I
case-
know, but for this particular situation, I think we're all right.
Not to mention, we're still this area is still part of the city technically. It's well within jurisdiction.
That is true. It was just a thought. No guarantees that it will totally work, but really it's going to depend on what his willpower is and how he can, if he can circumvent it. But it's something I can try. Either way, you can still question him. Regardless if it works or not, you can still question and ask him. We'll just need to watch his body language. It's about the best I can think of. If only I had more higher level spells that I could do shit with, but I'm not high enough yet.
Yeah, I know. I've been so upset this whole time because I'm not level 10, so I don't have commune with nature to just be like, hey, hey, trees.
Did you see a dwarf yeet a gun into the river there?
Yeah, I could have found all this yesterday if we were level 10. But we're not, so it's whatever.
Right? I could have had really cool 5th level spells that I could use. I had like all sorts of cool stuff I could have done, but I'm not yet there. Are you still taking a look at the future?
Yeah, I'd say that since it doesn't say that they would have a chance of knowing, that no, there's no chance they would know.
Score! That was the one thing that I wanted to just clarify and make sure, because I know wording wise, but you're the DM, so I wanted to leave that up
No,
to
I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, so is that the plan then?
It is.
Yes.
I'm just glad that I have a prominent holy symbol.
All right, let's grab the gun and head back up.
All right.
We should probably dry it off so that way we don't make it seem like do we want to make it obvious that we got it just from the river? And make it seem
Oh.
like we were already digging through
Oh,
Let's
If
give
it-
him as little info as possible, and they'll cast prestidigitation to get the water off.
The water
Yes.
comes off, but the rust does not.
just going to say, if we show up with a completely dry gun, that seems a little weird. If we found it in the river.
Oh, if it comes to it, we can just say we dried it off.
Yeah,
Examine it.
that's fair.
All right, let's give it a go.
Perhaps one of you should partake in the whiskey to be more friendly. Maybe he would be more open.
I don't really take strangers' whiskey when I don't trust them, given
I'm not going to be touching another drink for perhaps another 100 years or so.
Well, I will take you out in 100 years for that then. If you really want someone to, I could, I guess.
It was just an idea, and it's not going to be me, so just thought I'd throw that out there. He's going to be suspicious that why we're back anyway, so we're probably going to have to open with the
yeah, that's
with
what
the
I
murder.
figured.
and why we were there.
That's possible.
Sort of just let him know that we found it. Maybe.
Well, we were talking about doing the whole good cop, bad cop situation, so we could try that.
Doesn't have to be quite that outline, but I think I'm gonna go a bit closer to the accusatory route.
It's probably the way to go. Trying to get us. I just need to be able to get to his surface thoughts. If I can, I'll be able to glean what I can.
How long do you need, Saldana?
A minute.
To prepare it?
No, that's how long it will last. I can do it rather quickly.
Okay.
But I do want to say that in Channel Divinity there is a very vague term, of course, which I was just trying to look up here. It says you do need to present your holy symbol, which to me does not mean just have it. You have to brandish it. You can do it behind their back, but there's going to be a check for him to see you kind of present it forward in a obvious way. You're supposed to be proud of what your god has given you, and flaunting it a little bit is kind of the idea.
I mean, I have a way I could fix that. That would just use up both of my channels of divinity.
Okay. What's that?
Knowledge of Ages, which gives me proficiency with any school or tool for 10 minutes. So I could easily use that for sleight of hand.
I was gonna say, I could also distract him, and you can do it while he's like pouring a drink or something.
Yeah, you can easily
I'm
have
still
him
gonna
give
do
you a
that.
disadvantage.
I also have a hero die. What the fuck am I thinking?
I can also give you advantage.
It's a contested check, so you can't use a hero die.
Yep, we can give you advantage, and I can give you inspiration.
And I can
There
give
you
you a
go.
D4. Like, it's...
just in case we
Like
need
crazy.
to talk to someone else. Like, mostly just in case we need to talk to someone else. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
fair.
that, yeah.
All right. That's enough prep. So you guys get back to the house?
Yep.
Mari's gonna cast the enhance ability to give the dex checks. Advantage on the dex.
And I'm just gonna say, you've done this before. This will be easy, and give her inspiration.
Okay. As you knock on the door, Zeknar comes to the door and opens it twice in one day. I'm blessed. You've been gone for 20 minutes. Missed me already. And he just stands at the door this time, assuming you just forgot something.
Yeah, we forgot one thing that we actually meant to speak with you about. Do you mind if I step back in?
Should I mind?
I don't see why not. Just want
All
to
right.
have another chat.
He goes and sits back and goes and sits back down at the table.
Saldana's gonna sit kind of further away. She's small enough. She's gonna kind of make it seem like she's being a little bit meek. Well, she's always meek, but she's gonna be like more behind Oshin or Lark or Zoxy. One of the bigger folks, much bigger than her, to try and help a little bit.
All right.
And once she hears Owen start questioning, that's when she's going to try and use her channel divinity. So I'm just going to be waiting for that one little trigger.
One second here.
I is a nervous. I ain't bad with deck stuff, but I'm not great with sleight of hand.
Well, first of all, I was curious. Given that you're right next to the stream, that must be a pretty easy source of water, right?
Easy without the cane, maybe.
Fair. But you do find yourself down there quite a bit, right?
Twice a day, every day.
Have you seen anything of interest out there?
There was a deer last week.
But not that. And he's going to point over to where Lark and I'm assuming Foster have the gun.
I would have had my read thoughts, and I, with the advantage and with the, it's a D8, right? Right, Joe, for the
Yep.
inspiration. I got a total of 23 for my sleight of hand.
Okay. So you very stealthily, right as he turns and looks at the gun, cast the spell. What is your what is my what is
It
your
is a
caster
wisdom.
level? Hold on, we're not there yet. What is your caster level? Caster level
Don't-
check normally.
I think
What's your
it's a thing in
standard
5e. Oh, the
My save DC?
Yeah.
It's 15. It's a wisdom saving throw of 15.
One of the logs in the fire cracks loudly and splits in two. Everyone
So
seems to
what's
jump,
it-
and he kind of turns and looks at it. Your spell fails. Well, your magical effect, which it does count as magic, failed.
Motherfucker!
And he kind of looks at the log and then looks down at his whiskey and kind of swirls it around and just takes a sip. I've never seen it.
Really? Ever? Don't
No,
recognize
no.
it.
It's rusty and old, it looks.
I'll step forward a little bit closer so you can get a better look at it.
And I'm just trying to get a read on his body language, see if something makes him stiffen up or if he's trying to do something. Like to
Okay.
hide it.
He just seems relaxed. He looks over at it. He's become a little more quiet. He looks at the weapon. It's not old at all. It's just poorly cared for. Maybe last year's model. I've seen a few like it. I don't recognize the smith. But the style is significant. It's close to mine.
I figured that since you spent about 3 or so months traveling with the fellow who owned this one, you might recognize it.
No.
Same owner of that pelt you got over there.
Oh, he didn't have a rifle like that when I met him. Didn't have a rifle at all.
Interesting.
No, we introduced rifles to Labana.
Now, I'll just go ahead and let you know. Because I think we're done dancing around the bush quite so much. Wabura turned out dead a couple days ago. Shot most likely with his own gun.
Pity.
And we come to find the only person who really would have any motive we know of to be in possession of his two most prized possessions.
Which are the pelt and what else?
That gun.
That you found where?
Directly outside of your cabin where you get your water every day. Twice a day, I believe you said. Do you have
you're
anything?
making an accusation, Major?
Oh, I would love to
I'm
hear.
assuming
if
you're wearing
you
some
have-
sort of insignia or uniform. If you're
He's-
not, then he wouldn't have said.
Most of the time, he's going to be in his breastplate, but
Cities.
with some sort of guard regalia.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Okay.
If not quite an accusation yet, I would need to hear something from you that would be any sort of reassurance that this quite obvious conclusion is not the correct one.
So he kind of just looks down into his whiskey a little bit, swirls it around, and he kind of brings it to his lips, but right before taking a sip, says, "Everything I've told you has been the truth."
But have you
And he takes a sip.
told us everything you know? Including who might be trying to target either you or him?
Why do I get the feeling that it doesn't really matter what I say? I've been nothing but hospitable. I've been nothing but nice to all of you. What makes you think I'm capable of killing someone?
Lots of people are capable of a lot. I'm not saying your hospitality hasn't been nice, but you have to understand how this looks from an outside perspective.
And I would bet that the 6 of you have killed more people than I have in my life.
Not going to debate with that. It's not the question we're trying to answer.
No, you're just debating the question of this one person because somebody left me something on my doorstep and tossed a gun in the creek behind my house.
It just happened to belong to your long-term business partner who you had a falling out with. You have to understand how this looks, right?
And there are 24 men that returned from that expedition that are not dead right now by my hands. Many of them I had worse disagreements with.
Yeah, when we asked if there was anyone who had major disagreements with you, you didn't bring them up, now did you?
It was over a year ago. Why would I bring that up? Why would I think I needed to? I thought you meant here, now, in this city. I've had no disagreements with anyone.
Well,
The blowhard I met used to live at the Brellis.
There's evidence both ways. We're just trying to find
There's
more
no
information.
evidence. You have circumstantial evidence at best.
Yeah, we're trying to clear things up, make sure no one jumps to the wrong conclusions.
Sounds like you've already jumped several feet in the wrong direction. Which one of you was casting spells?
I know one spell. And I drew half the
Targeting
flower.
me. Yes, I see. Those only 2 left now, but are very handy to have around. They keep your hearth safe and warm.
keep in mind, it would be well within my power to bring you into the city for questioning. Regardless,
Please do.
I'll be happy to. I was wondering if you might want to be helpful so we don't have to do that. And
I've said everything I have to say on the subject. You've asked me no questions other than fishing for speculation and more circumstantial evidence. If you have something hard, I'd be glad to come in, but you don't.
I was asking if you had any idea who might have a grudge against you. Sounds like you might know something more than you let on before.
I
A
don't.
year is
I've
just
told you
long enough for
everything.
someone to try and plan a framing, perhaps.
Why would they? Who cares about the broken old man who wrote a book?
That's the same question we're wondering.
Well, if you find them, please let me know. He kind of laughs and takes another sip.
Do you know anyone that had grudges against Wabura?
Everyone he ever met ever, probably. He was not a very pleasant person.
And again, you have to understand that the fact that these items were dropped off here means either you had something to do with it, or, according to you, someone wanted to make it look like you did. I don't see how that's outside of your interest. It could only help you to help out with it.
When did he die?
A couple of days back.
So maybe he dropped off the pelt and threw the gun in there before he left?
There's blood on the pelt, and there's no reason why he'd do that. Not to mention he was shot
He was
with
a
the gun.
hunter and he kept it on him all the time.
And he was shot with the gun.
Which one? I hear there's almost a dozen in the city now. Everyone's got one.
We suspect his own.
But you don't know. Have
Well,
you
if-
asked him? You seem so keen on casting spells. Can't you make him talk after he's
Well,
passed away? I saw the shamans do.
whoever did so kill him seemed to already try to get some information from him. Not that long ago, it seems. So someone clearly wanted to get information from him, perhaps about you, perhaps about something else, but he's already been questioned, which raises even more questions about his murder.
That means someone that's fairly powerful is targeting him too, because it's not easy magic to do.
Indeed, it is not.
Still nothing?
Who have you spoken to about the expedition to Lamina Island?
Everyone.
Well,
Anyone who would sit down and listen for more than a minute.
who have you talked to that might have the means to get a hold of a cleric or a spell to speak with the dead?
Literally everyone that I've spoken to on any official sort of capacity about the adventures and the things I've wanted to do and the expeditions and the money that I need. Hundreds of people over the past year.
Well, I'll tell you this. If we can't get any more information, I'm afraid my hands are tied. I'm going to have to ask you to come in for questioning so we can get a cleric in to put you under spell. If you're telling the truth right now, I greatly apologize, but I can't risk having you leave.
And you're taking me in under suspicion under what exactly? That I have a pelt?
Belonging to the deceased and the gun belonging to the deceased.
Circumstantial at best. Fine, take me in. Your court system might be up and running by now. Maybe I can get a fair trial.
I'll make sure of it. And to be honest, it's just a matter of getting you in a room where we know you're not leading us astray. I'll be happy to let you go once I know 100% you're telling the truth.
Maybe
don't
it'll be
like-
safer. Maybe it'll be safer for you if you're being targeted.
And we
Yeah,
don't like that we have to make these. We don't like that we have to make these assumptions and have to do this, Ekna. But we want to make sure that we definitely can scratch you off as a potential suspect. I'm sure you understand that at least. I don't think you want to be a suspect of any sort of murder. Someone's clearly trying to frame you about this. I'm sure you'll want to find out who.
Not really. I have one desire in life. And the trivialities of dealing with something like this are not anything I care to do. I'm glad that they're still building the rules of the city. Maybe they'll find a place for Owen's Law. Not prematurely taking old cripples in for questioning.
Yeah, I've got more than evidence to bring you in. Like I said, I'm not convicting you of anything, not putting you in front of a judge.
But you're also telling me that I'm going to have to answer questions under some sort of compulsion. Questions that may or may not hurt me. I won't be answering any questions, no matter what.
Well, that doesn't really do you any favors because I gotta keep you until we know the truth.
I think of this, Ekna, is that if you happen to not cooperate and we do have to throw you in jail, then that's definitely going to make going to Lamina Island going back to Lamina Island much more difficult, and finding a proper sponsor if you don't cooperate with the local laws.
Or it'll give me sympathy. One way or the other. I think I can turn it to a win.
Well, you're welcome to try, and I bid you no ill will against it. You have to understand, if I let someone who was in possession of the objects last known to be with the deceased, I wouldn't be doing my job.
Can Mari go to the window and just look out to see if anyone might be watching or listening in?
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Just to see. Just to see. That's a 13. I don't think it's gonna. If there is anything,
you don't
see
really
it.
see anything.
I didn't think so. It's just gonna see.
All right. So you gonna shackle him, or do you have shackles?
He does have manacles, but he's not going to use them if he doesn't put up a fight. He'll probably have.
He packs a small bag real quick just for the travel and grabs some water. Turns off the hearth, and starts very slowly walking the 4 miles back.
I can give you a ride if it's easier for you.
I'll walk, thanks.
You're welcome. I just thought I'd offer.
And you slowly make your way back to town. Which probably takes a couple of hours.
And Saldana would have shot Owen a look as sort of like it didn't work as they walk.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's gonna make sure, obviously, we take the gun and the pelt with us.
Okay.
Making
So-
our way back down.
So, you guys talk about anything? Anybody fall back to talk before while you were walking or anything, or go ahead? More like falling back would mean stopping.
Not really. Owen will occasionally just remind him that they'd be happy if he was more willing to cooperate. They'd be more than happy to make it easier. But
He doesn't answer you.
I'll just probably keep an eye out, like Mari did, to make sure that there's not someone that's like watching us or something.
That's all Mari's
Okay,
doing.
give me a perception
probably.
check.
Okay.
I like these metal dice. I got a nat 20.
21.
It's a total of 25.
So Oshin, as you're looking around, you are fairly certain that as far as you can see, you are completely alone. There's nobody else out or around. And Mara, you're pretty sure that you agree with that. Saldana?
I will say, Saldana would have kind of walked on ahead with Owen, and she's going to speak in Elvish. She's not sure if Zeknar can speak Elvish, but she's going to speak lowly in Elvish to him, just saying, if you need me to be in there, I could try again and see if I can read his surface thoughts at least. It's going to be less invasive, and if possible, I
this
could
point-
compel him to tell the truth.
at this point, I think we'll be better off just seeing what we can get with going through proper channels. Because it was worth a try, see if we could avoid bringing him in all together, but don't want to cooperate. So, gotta be safe.
Well, you heard himself. He said that even if he fails any sort of zone with truth, he's still not going to answer any questions. I just figured giving
Which is
him
his own
surface
doing.
thoughts was...
If he doesn't want to answer, that's fine by me. That does not help his position.
All right. It was just an idea that I thought I'd bring up to you.
Absolutely. And if it comes to it, we might have you try again. But I think at this point, we've got him in custody. He's not going anywhere. That's mainly what we need to take care of.
All right.
Logan, I'm gonna be just on the one back. It's a long walk, so I'm gonna specifically be looking at his limp in particular, just that, to see if there's any inconsistency with it. See if he's faking it.
Give me an insight check.
I hate wisdom checks.
You could do it!
8.
No, you don't notice any inconsistencies or with his gait or how he holds himself. Even the tracks in the snow are pretty much the same that you recognize. It's been extremely consistent.
At one point, I just would have said, "Are you keeping notes? If you are innocent or guilty, any of these would make for a good book, second book for you."
He doesn't answer.
Does he respond? No.
Mm-mm.
How I got away with murder. Or did I?
Has it been enough time to be a short rest? Because I just realized I didn't check the School of Magic on the staff, and I didn't see it the last time. I just wanted to know if I could check that.
I'd have to look that one up, but you can have that from last time. I'll just give that to you.
Okay, I didn't ask. I thought about it and then didn't ask.
When you were detecting magic, the whiskey wasn't magical, was it?
It was just the logs and the staff and the air shell. And the air shell was specified to not have a specific school of magic, but I didn't ask about the other ones because I don't know. Just didn't think to ask, I guess. I don't know.
You can continue talking. I'm going to look this up real quick. I got to see. what
I'm just
spells are on it, so
pondering
can
because I don't trust.
Well, there's no one
Yeah.
watching us right now.
I prefer not to do that before we get him into proper custody.
Well, we're okay right now. Just there's nothing watching us or anything. I was it's a bit worried about that. Bring him out to the open, then if someone was targeting him. Then again, we
that's-
are.
That's
Also
the
here.
thing. Whether he's telling the truth or not, he's either guilty or in danger. Either way, gotta keep him close.
Owen, would it be a good idea to have somebody keep an eye on the cabin now that we've taken him away?
It's not a bad idea.
We do not know
Absolutely.
motive.
Yeah, keep see if anyone comes back to check on it. I can always potentially have a few scouts, guards check it out. Camp nearby.
Just I feel like there's stuff I can do, but I have nothing prepared that would help. The
What?
2 spells that could have helped today, I unprepared.
Well, the only spell I really want to use on him at this point is Zone of Truth, as far as I understand it. Because I don't want to force him to say anything, but that at least makes it so he can't lie. And I'll speak in volumes.
Well, and the problem is that even though we don't necessarily think he did it, he's been completely uncooperative and not given us really anything to go off of.
Yep, we tried explaining it.
That doesn't help his situation. As much as I hate doing this, I don't want to be suspicious of him, but he's not helping his own case.
That's what it comes down to. We can't control what he says. If he wants to stay silent, he can, but that won't necessarily help him.
He hasn't exactly denied it. He's just saying that we have nothing on him to prove it, so there's something going on. He's not sharing.
Of that, I think we can agree on.
So it's conjuration and evocation.
Okay. And the fireplace was like abjuration or something.
That was
We know what it does, so it's not as important, but
abjuration, yes.
I guess we're just taking him in to the city.
I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
All right. So, several hours, an hour and a half-ish later, you guys get back to the city, and you take him to the closest guardhouse, I assume, and start having him processed, where they will then take it from there.
Yep, and he'll just report to. We haven't talked much about any superior officers or anything. I know there are a couple, but he's just going to let anyone who needs to know who's aware of the case.
I did probably let them know about the staff too, or the cane. It's magic. It's not like defensive magic. It's what it seems.
When you let them know that, Owen, what would you have wanted the guard to do with? What would your training manual say about people with magic items? Would they be confiscated along with anything else, even if they're things they need? Would you then supply them with a new cane or something?
Yeah, in this case, it would be supply them with a new cane in the meantime and keep it under lock and key.
Okay, which is the easy part. All right, so they confiscate that and everything else.
Owen, if you need me to, I can identify that. See if maybe what the specific properties are of the cane, aside from the air shell magic.
Yeah, and if it's nothing,
if
it's not something. Well, you can probably just hold on to it for now, and
I just need an hour.
Well, they're just saying they can just hold on to the cane for now, and if it comes up that he's not involved at all, then, I mean, if they're just keeping him here to protect him, then there's no problem with him having it, if that's what it comes down to, I don't think.
Well, and at the moment, you just brought him in to question him. You didn't bring him in to arrest him for anything. So you don't necessarily need to process all his magical items as long as he doesn't have them, so he can't use them to lie or get away from you.
I am also just curious, honestly.
But once they found out it had evocation magic, they would have treated it as a weapon, and they, even for questioning, they wouldn't let you bring a weapon in there. So they would have at least held it during the questioning.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm not saying they would have given it back to him. I'm just saying, like, full-on processing where, like, you catalog everything the person had on them. That's not usually done just for questioning a suspect.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
I mean, but she... Yeah.
Just hold it while he's being questioned. Hold it while he's being questioned, and then give it back whenever he's done. Because it is something that he needs, apparently. Like, so.
It's probably like Gabby being really curious of what the fuck that thing does.
I want to know too.
All right. Anybody else do anything?
I'll remind Owen to ask for scouts, but nothing.
Yeah.
Mari's been like really quiet the entire walk back.
Well, yeah, he'll make sure that that someone's out there watching the cabin as covertly as possible.
Okay.
Owen, you might want to have someone else also digging into whether or not Wabura had any enemies in town.
Yep, I'll look into that. I might pay Juice a visit. I haven't seen him in a while, but he always has his ear to the ground, as far as I know.
Oh, you've got, I gave you that, oh god, what's the word he used? Velvet cast, or whatever, to trade him as well.
I forgot about that. That was a while back.
It was, but you've got that in case you need it to trade to him for anything. I mean, I literally do nothing with it except throw it away, so.
Alright, that's definitely an idea.
Are we not worried if he's innocent? Are we not worried of what this is going to project as an image for our group? We're not worried about that.
Oh no, okay. I'm completely concerned about that.
If he's innocent, then that means he's being targeted and framed. So
we don't know that.
Holding him.
Machine.
So why else would they take the things to him then? If there's reason to think he's in danger, I don't think that bringing him to the guard. There is reason to think he's in danger. I don't think that bringing him to the guardhouse to make sure that he didn't do it himself and then to keep him safe is really a problem. Especially because he's so far from town, no one would know if anything happened. It's situational.
And I understand your concern, Mari. Trust me, I've been thinking about it too. That's why I don't want to force too much magic on him before we need to. But he was in possession of the pelt, and he was in possession of the gun just nearby. It's nothing beyond the ordinary to bring in the one person you have evidence against for questioning. If anyone has problems with it, then they have problems with the law in general. We haven't done anything untoward. We haven't done anything wrong. We found a man we suspected that of murder that happened recently in possession of objects that, it was directly tied to the murder.
Yeah, and if they really were dropped off around his house, that means, he's got a connection to the victim, and he could be being taunted or something, or
This is
threatened.
going to be a very crazy idea. It's very out there. It's very wild, but it's something that I'm thinking about. What if Welbiora was trying to do something to frame Zeknar, but something went wrong? What if he was trying to do something to blame Zeknar and something went horribly wrong and he ended up dead?
Why would he do that though? He didn't seem like he really cared about Zeknar either way, from what I gathered.
I know, like I said, it's very far-fetched, but it's just an idea. He could have been trying to do something to discredit Zeknar, or make Zeknar seem like a very bad person. I don't know. Like I said, it is a very far-fetched idea. Could have been he was trying to do something and it went horribly wrong for him.
I don't know. There are two reasonable explanations to me. I think bringing him in makes sense. For the only two that we've really got evidence for is that someone knew where he was and brought things from someone who was recently deceased to him. A blood-splattered pelt, that very much seems like it could be a threat, even if he doesn't seem to really think of it as one. And it's either that or he's somewhat involved and he was lying about having the pet, why he had the pelt. So,
Well, keep in mind, regardless of what ends up being the case, it's not like he's being arrested. It's not like he's, being held captive. He's still going to be able to walk around. We just need to process him and make sure he doesn't leave the city. That's standard procedure.
Asking questions about someone who is connected, it's not. He's connected. Even if he didn't do anything, they brought him the pelt. They could ask him, okay, did you see anything? Did you see any tracks or anything?
I think that's something for the lawbringers to do.
Yeah, we brought in someone connected to the murder. It's a question. It's not a bad thing.
What were you saying, Mari? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just knowing the effects of that spell, having been under it, he doesn't have to say anything. He could completely go silent.
No, exactly.
What happens then?
If he has nothing to say,
how long?
He has nothing to say. Then I know, but if he,
essentially the way it's going to work, or the way I understand it, is we get him in, we question him, so that we can get it written down what exactly he said and can be compared to later. That's the whole point of getting them in for questioning. So you can have a record of what their statement is, so they can't later on say, well, no, I didn't say that. That's the whole point against one in for questioning. Just so you can get it on the record.
It's just questions. It's not accusations. He was the one who was taking it as accusations.
He said it himself. He's not going to answer.
If he doesn't, then
he said
then
that
he's
wasn't gonna
he can
answer.
leave because we have nothing to charge him with. It's not our. It's.
Yeah, I really think you're all being too. You're getting too.
I'm not anything actually. I would
concerned
like to
about-
go do something.
Not you. Just I think, Mario. I think you're overthinking it a little bit. It's not. We're not. We brought in the one person that we know that's actively connected to it to answer questions. If he doesn't want to answer, then he can go. And if in the meantime scouts find something at his cabin or something, then he's already here. He can be protected if he wants to.
Besides, at the
bringing
end
in
of this-
bringing in the one known person connected to a murder to answer questions isn't a bad thing. It's probably necessary.
And at the end of the day, it was my decision. If anyone has problems with that procedure, they can come talk to me in the council.
All right.
I don't like this any more than you do, Maria. I'm just worried about what all this means and what all this could lead up to.
He came willingly. It's not like he can complain.
Somewhat. He came somewhat willingly. He came reluctantly.
Reluctant is still willing. He may not have liked it. He may have wanted to stay in his cabin, but he didn't say no. As far as this is concerned, I mean, he's not like he can say we dragged him out by force to the city to whatever. Because we didn't even threaten him or anything. We just told him to come and
In a way, we did.
How tall is everyone?
4'11".
4'8".
So you're about his height. You're about his height, and the rest of
6
you are all 1, 2, 3 feet taller.
I was being nice intentionally because I'm very big.
You are an intimidating person. If O'Sheen existed in our world and tried to get out of a car before a police officer told them to, he would have a gun drawn on him, no matter how nice he's being. You are an intimidating individual with another intimidating individual with a bear and another person that is very intimidating, along with a major from the guard, someone who could turn into a wolf at will, and the former queen. You think he was going to argue?
He could have.
A frail old man. That is how he saw that situation. He had no choice in his mind whether he was going to be leaving with you or not. He just saw how many bruises he was going to have if he was not going to go. That was the only difference.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If what's worse, bringing someone in for question or someone hearing that the major found the only known information on a murder that happened within our jurisdiction and let the single person with that info leave the city entirely. Which sounds more competent.
Yeah, the second one sounds like it's opening up for a lot of people to use loopholes because we know there are people in the city that will skirt the law to stay within. You know, people that'll just openly break the law and hold people against their will for whatever reason, as bargaining chips. We don't need being lenient. It's probably circumstances are important and all, but you know, this isn't really a case where you can be as lenient as we may want to be because, you know, it's not. We don't have many options and many witnesses.
Skirting the law
I
and stuff.
think
You mean
the
like
bigger-
those keys that you were given a while ago?
I've
Did
used
the
them to
major
break
just
up-
looks and ignores completely every time you bring them out?
I
That's not
think
true. I think the only time you brought them out, you were under an official investigation.
Yeah, I was
it
gonna
was.
say,
I
if-
used them. I used them on the house I moved
Still
into.
prompt. You still prompt.
Tybalt's house as an official investigation because we thought we were concerned he might be
Yeah.
dead. Another, whatever. And then I
So far
offered
he
to
has
do it on
not seen it.
Saldana's. I offered to do it on Saldana's house when she was there.
That's true. You're only getting the lockpicks for functional around the house type uses. Yeah, I see that excuse a lot.
honestly, I mean, I think the big thing is if you brought him in, you're going to question him to get it on official record. That all seems fine. I do think that given the evidence you've got, unless it's part of the law that you're writing in, you might not be able to get away with the zone of truth thing you were talking about. That's a bit much.
Yeah, that's not my decision, to be honest. That's... I don't know. Has the council discussed anything? Like, I know this is, like, basically cobbled together in the last month or so in terms of a legal system, but, like, has there been
We are
discussion?
world building right now. The things you guys have been saying are the way that the laws have been written over the past month. So, yes, they have discussed it. In cases of murder, absolutely. Circumstantial evidence is enough to bring somebody in, and you can absolutely order a zone of truth.
But it would have to be, you'd have to order it. Like, it's not like standard, everyone that's brought in is put under the spell.
For suspected murder, probably everyone. And as you have said, and I'm going to use the word threatened, silence is condemnation. So if he stays silent, he can be held, because that's what you told him.
To be fair, he was more saying it didn't look good. He wasn't necessarily saying
You specifically said your silence can, I don't think you used the word condemn, but you said that would be reason to hold him if he did not answer. You said that.
We'll have to look back on the Twitch stream with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's may not have been what I intended to get across. It was more because I didn't know what the rules were, so I was trying to.
That's how it came across.
Well, that's totally fine, but I didn't know that we were forming the rules as we said it.
I know.
That's why I kind of was.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well,
But
yeah.
if we want to try something, I'll need to get the material components today if I can. I could find out from Bol what could potentially happen in 7 days, whether we find the murderer or if... I don't know. It's a wild thought, but if I can contact Bol or any of his servants, then maybe we can get some sort of information, but it'll give me something, but it doesn't take into account other random factors. Metatalk, it's divination. I don't know, it's a thought. That's all I have are thoughts and ideas and spells that don't always work. It's all I have to offer.
Well, either way, we won't know more until he speaks or until we get some sort of other lead. Is there any kind of magic out there that can take a look at the pelt and determine any sort of history for it?
Perhaps, but if there is, I'm not powerful enough to know.
I'm sure there is.
It's not magic. That's all I can do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the kind of thing I can do either. I mean, I guess technically it's partly a dead body, but you can't speak with dead with a pelt because there's no voice or mouth or anything.
I don't think it would be possible to speak with it now. I would if I could, but I don't think so.
Moisturize me.
No! No!
Would you
No! No, Logan, bad.
It's a haircut. Or a shave.
To follow through with this, would it be a better idea to bring... my brain just blanked on the turtle's name. What is his name?
Same here, oh shit.
Wabuna?
Wabura.
Wabura?
Would it be a better idea to bring Wabura's body here and have the spell to speak with him cast here, not just in the open?
Oh yeah,
That would be a better idea. It would
It
still take a
definitely
few
needs
days, though.
witnesses.
Yeah.
It's still going to take a few days before that could be used on him.
I'm just thinking ahead.
Yeah. Well,
That is a good idea.
I'm going to go by that if the pelt was dropped off 4 days ago, he probably died that same day or maybe a day before. I'd say 6 or 7 days is a good time frame to wait in order to use the spell again.
yeah. And yeah, if Wabura tells us something different, then I mean, there you go. He's not. I think Wabura would know. I don't think he's got any reason to. He's got no reason to defend Zeknar, especially since he didn't actually leave the pelt, did he? There was blood
He
on
wouldn't
it.
have any reason to tell the truth either. He doesn't have to. He just speaks.
But why would he lie?
Why would he
You
tell
don't-
the truth? Why would he
you
talk
don't have-
to us?
Under that
He-
spell, never mind.
It's the person who murdered him. I don't know about you, but if I saw someone murder me, I would definitely tell somebody who did it.
I don't know.
Because
I'm just thinking, knowing his attitude and what Zeknar has said about his attitude, could be that he'll be stubborn, but if he does want us to know, then wonderful. We'll have a good idea of who murdered him and why someone would do this to Zeknar. It's the best. That's the best that
I can really think of. I have no other ideas. I have nothing. No. That's all I can think of do. All I can do is wait until I can actually do something to help.
Well,
So do you get that back after a short rest, Saldana, or is it a long rest?
Oh, what?
Oh, I thought you said you can wait till you cast a spell or something. I'm sorry.
No, I have to wait until I can use Speak with Dead on Wabira.
Oh, right.
I have to wait, like, I'm going to say 7 days to be safe.
Okay.
But I have to wait a few days in order to try and use
from
that.
today. Next Wednesday.
Yep. I think I'm able to play
Ish.
that week. I hope.
I know this sounds really strict, but I mean, someone died. I think knowing who did it, so that's important. They're not going to be this strict on everything. It's not like a petty thief is going to be brought in and targeted with the spell. It's just serious.
Yeah, it is only allowed in certain situations. But, like I said, we've got a murder, and we got one person connected to it. Either way, he needed to be brought in for question, and or if he wants it, protection. Because he's also potentially being threatened or framed.
I'm not sure he's going to say anything.
If he doesn't want to, we can't make it.
So, Owen, are you wanting to do the questioning, or did you...
No, I think it'd be generally considered improper for the arresting officer to do the questioning, because it'd probably be seen as, trying to use a previous relationship. So it'd be...
Well, you're like basically like a detective, basically. So you being in charge of your case, you could. But if you want somebody else to handle it, that's fine.
Yeah, he'd get someone...
Know what questions you want to ask.
Yeah, and he'll be listening in, but he wouldn't be doing the questioning himself. And then mostly in particular, the main thing is just getting all of his... Someone's there to get all of his responses on record.
Mm-hmm.
Basically an affidavit.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And something Saldana is going to do is that if other people are going to stay and wait for Owen or anything like that, Saldana is going to go to the Temple District, to the Knowledge Temple. And she's going to spend money to get some certain instances, specific pieces of paper to write on, all of which kind of accumulate to 25 gold pieces in worth. So that way she could use them for a spell.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. So go ahead. What questions? I want to see if there's anything he might answer.
First question is just obvious question for the they go through the obvious ones, like, were you aware of the murder of Wabura?
He would say, let me think. Is he going to say anything, or is he going to? 1 second.
Honestly, Mari probably left.
Something.
I imagine
Probably either went.
technically, since you guys are a member of the guards, you guys probably wouldn't have been allowed in the room anyways.
It'd probably be good to ask too, if he'd seen anybody, if he'd actually seen any person or anything in the forest in the last 4 or 5 days, because that's when the pellet was dropped off.
Yeah, Mari left and went back to her shop.
Okay. All right. So he doesn't answer anything about the Wabura or the gun or the pellet. What other questions were there?
About the basics of his whereabouts, if he's moved around in the last week or so, if he was always in the cabin, if he heard or saw anything of interest, if he suspected that there was anyone who would have a grudge against him or Uhura. Just mostly the basics, covering establishing all the testimony.
He doesn't answer any of that.
What is your favorite color?
Turtle red.
Oh, that was awful.
And then
So he just sits there and patiently listens to everything, and he just sits through all of it. He answers nothing. The question becomes, do you want to have the officers use any more advanced tactics, intimidation, persuasion, anything like that?
he definitely did. Not potentially persuasion. He'd want them to be like, obviously, he'd want them to be slightly persuasive if possible, to just be like, get any answers if they can. But he's not going to call for a spell or for any kind of intimidation.
Right.
He'll essentially just follow it up with having them let him know that he has the option of guard protection if he wants to accept it, due to the fact that he is potentially being targeted and or framed, and also that he is not to leave the city until further notice, so that they can call him back in if they need to ask further questions.
Okay. So then you guys let him go?
Yep.
All right.
I'll say Saldana would actually be at the Knowledge Temple. Like, she probably had visited once or twice before. We just haven't gone into it. But something she's going to do is she's going to go to kind of a prayer area in the temple. And what she's going to do, she's going to light one of the small candles that she purchased. And on one of the more fine pieces of paper, she gets like 2 of them. One, she writes down a personal secret of hers and burns it in the flame. And then the next, she writes down what her question is for the divination spell, as she is ritual casting divination. And
Okay.
the specific question that she is asking and hoping that Ball or any of his servants answer is, will Wabura's murderer try to leave the city within the next 7 days?
Okay. And what's that spell again?
Divination.
I think that's the one you could use. Yeah, I think that's the one you could have used if you had kept around your little thingamabobbers, your little crunchy spirit fate friends.
Yep.
I'm at a loss there. I don't know. Who
The Fate Eater. You can eat part of it and use divination.
The purple people eaters, guys.
Yeah, no, Solana wouldn't have eaten that, no.
Yummy.
No, I said the purple people eaters.
Yummy.
We eat the purple. No,
You eat the
Yeah.
purple.
The only one who got to do that was Foster.
Foster.
I love purple, but no.
Crunchy fate friends. I like that.
Ew,
right,
Autumn,
we're
why?
I unsubscribed from that
Because
TV
Autumn's
show.
amazing.
I'm good. I don't need that TV show.
Were you thinking of Happy Tree Friends?
Yeah.
That shit is fucked up.
That's something I haven't thought about
really
in
is.
a long time.
Same. That shit is fucked up.
So bad.
I was
You
like,
value
wild.
your sanity. Don't look that up.
This
Yeah,
is
isn't
the
it wild
knowledge
that
cleric
people
you
would
said?
know that?
Well, it's any cleric could cast that spell. It's a 4th level spell.
But you are a knowledge domain cleric.
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's fine.
I follow more of the knowledge seeking part of Ball than the magic unlocking secrets part of it. I'm definitely gonna have to play more with that idea of the ritual because that was fun.
So as you are sitting there doing your ritual, where inside the temple, you get a kind of this flash of light that kind of just streams from behind the bookshelves that are in front of you, as one of the books falls and to the ground and falls open, and within is this book of Posea's Fables, is the fable of the tortoise and the hare, the white furry creature, and versus the tortoise. And I believe you know, and most people probably know the story there, but that, my dear Sildana, is your answer.
Also, Posea's tales, really. So just the story of the rabbit and the hare. That's
Cryptic, no? I'm working on cryptic.
Thanks.
Thanks, I hate it.
Exactly.
I have a concern.
Oh, same.
I have many concerns. This just adds to the
Yes.
list.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pondering this for a long time. Shit.
It's a good thing
Okay.
Owen's not going to be playing for a little bit after tonight because he's going to have a lot of paperwork to do.
So Lana's gonna have to think of the fucking goddamn riddle that her god gave her.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So, anyone else doing anything?
Not really. Mari left the guard station once Owen had gone to. the
Lark would've
questioning
left
and
too,
went back to her
probably.
shop. Went back to her shop.
Yeah.
And then probably went.
Soxy would have left at the same time because we couldn't be there for the questioning anyway.
Wasn't
and,
the reason Mari left, but yeah.
No, I know. But at that point, Soxy just doesn't know what to do with it. This is not her forte. It doesn't involve hitting things.
Same with Lark. He's
Or healing. So
Or healing.
kind of
Isn't
really
always
out
going.
of it.
she might have hung around just for like a little bit to see Owen whenever it was, I guess, done. Well, like while it was probably going on, just because everyone else left. So just okay, I'll just let him know what's going on. I guess I'll just sit here and wait.
Owen probably
Sounds
doesn't
good.
come out for a long time, but does Sildana at some point tell the others about that?
Oh yeah, no, she would. She's definitely gonna put that in the book as well, of that kind of detail that she was given.
Did she come back to the guardhouse to tell us, or like did she just put it in the book?
It's only Oshin.
It's just me, and then maybe Owen.
Yeah, that's the last place she probably would have thought that someone might have still been, if not anyone else, Owen, just so she could relay that information of what cryptic information she was given.
All right.
Hmm.
You all look like you're pondering.
I don't know what to do.
I have ideas based on wording. I just don't think Oshi would put it
You don't-
together because Oshi wasn't
You
there.
don't necessarily have to take any actions on this particular plot line. You have we have the rest of the evening. You can do whatever you like.
I ain't talking to Jasper or Javea tonight, that's for sure. This is too much.
I mean,
We have 14 minutes.
where did Soxy go?
She probably went back to the guild hall. She would have told you as she was leaving that she was going to go back to the guild hall to see how things were going there.
I might have asked if she wanted to finally use the gift that they were given because she was busy for like a week. The memory thing. If it's kind of, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, she's interested in using it. I just don't know. How are we planning on doing this, Logan? For that, is it going to be on stream, or do you just want us to do a downtime?
The memory
thing.
You're the ones that have to write it. So either way that it goes, I mean, it needs to be, your decision. You can do it any way you want. If you're on stream, you can do it as a downtime. I thought with the downtime, at least gives you a little bit better opportunity to write it together than trying to do it improv on the stream. Unless you guys both know what the memory is already.
I had a question though. If we did the one that we know already, would we know anything more about that, or would it just be?
Well, you guys have a vague memory, right?
You said the shared memory we have is the only one that's concrete. Every other memory we have before we were found is
concrete, yes, but not necessarily detailed. How much detail did you guys put into it?
Oh God, I'd have to look at what we wrote.
I was mostly.
This would allow you to relive the memory completely and know why you two. The point is, this would give you a little semblance into your past that would allow you both to know why you know each other, maybe, or why you have that shared memory. And give that to you. Plus, since it's the only memory you both know, and the way that magic item works, it has to be a memory that you have both experienced. It's kind of the only option, because you guys don't know another memory that you both have.
Yeah.
You can't just go pick one. You have to choose one, and it's the only one you know. So,
what we have is kind of vague. So
yeah, the point is it lets you relive it with complete, vivid perception. So you will completely relive that memory, and you will remember everything about it as much as you remember watching it on TV or experiencing it live or whatever at this age.
I just found the exact thing, so yeah.
Yeah, it was only like a paragraph, right?
Yeah, you told us to keep it kind of brief.
That was the point. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know this was why, but I always have a reason. I just don't know it yet. It's my entire DMing. It's the entire tonight. Yeah, I had nothing starting tonight. I knew that kind of this vague idea of what I want to do with Robura, and now I know exactly what's going on, and I love it.
Oh, goody.
Great.
That's what I mean. I put the pieces down, and I just watch it play out, and it's amazing.
Thanks, I hate it.
You're welcome.
Seriously.
Okay. So I would say you probably want to sit down and write and decide on that. Maybe you could do it in place, and we could do a 2-on-1 opening some night, and you guys can describe it. That'd be amazing. I would love that. But I would say have it written and ready and know exactly what's going on.
Okay. So we get to decide.
It's all up to you guys.
Okay.
We got to run it by me, but other than that, I think you guys.
Yeah, I feel like I need to ask about some of the things that I would.
Well, yeah, ask some things, but also it should tie you together. Obviously, it should tie you to the city. It should make you understand why you know each other. Or tie you to some place. It doesn't have to be the city, but. It's going to be a shared memory the two of you have that was from before the horribleness, It's not just going to be, we were in, jail together. Well, yeah, you remember that.
Well, we don't remember all of it, though.
Well, no, but that's true.
Please make it be your former lovers.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Well, the shared memory we have is a single person. It doesn't even involve both of us. The single shared memory we had is just, we don't even know if it's ours. So we'll have to figure that out.
Figure that out. Again, just because you have a vague idea of a memory doesn't mean you remember all of what actually happened. You guys might be in the memory, you just don't remember that part. So some reason that person sticks in your mind, but there should be a reason. Anyway. All right, I think that's going to do it for us. I think we're kind of all petered out here after that. That was very, very intense, guys. Thank you. I know that that's not everyone's forte, but I had a blast with that. I love talking like that, and not all the time, but occasionally being able to wrap things in there. And I'm sorry about the surprise world building. I kind of decided that whatever you guys started working on deciding was kind of like, well, you're the major. It kind of makes sense. You're the one that wrote the book, literally, on how to do a lot of these procedures. So it makes sense that whatever you guys kind of decide here is the way it happens. And we will have, I will go back and take a look. Maybe I misinterpreted, because I'm thinking one thing you did say out of character, which is, that's part of the danger of saying things out of character, was something about the condemning if they don't say anything. Maybe you didn't say it to him in character. That's the problem with saying something out of character, is it can get stuck in your memory, because none of us have great memories, and that's just human beings in general. Go watch the Adam Woods, everything about it. It's amazing. Anyway, so that's going to do it for us. We're going to do a quick little thing over there, so I'm going to let you guys do the talks while I go and check it out.
Okay, literally, like 3 days ago, I bought a copy of Aesop's Fables, so
Nice.
I'm having so I'm going to be reading The Tortoise and the Hare tonight, fuckers.
Just like very intensely, just like, what is it?
Just like, what is this?
What am I highlighter and like the whole pin board and everything?
I'm just waiting for it to reveal that Pip was the murderer. That's all I'm waiting for.
The white fluffy. Yeah, I'm like,
not gonna lie, that was a
and Prime
thought.
Heart.
That was a
Pip in
thought.
Prime Heart.
Oh shit, and Prime Heart.
He's strong enough to move it.
That's
It was
Pip
a
might be.
thought.
Pip is pretty strong too.
It could be too, yeah. Sorry, Kyle, we love you.
I think they're both
I
in
love
on it.
Pip. I don't want it to be Pip, and I'm almost positive.
I don't
it's
want
not
it
Pip
to
is
be
the
Zac
final big
Efron,
bad.
honestly.
Calling it out.
Da-da-da.
Pip is the final big bad. The last thing he does before
no,
he dies
because
will be
Logan
making
already
Moa
had
real.
Kyle
Not
be the
Kyle
big
again.
bad.
Promise.
Logan
Does
already
he have
had
blue
Kyle
eyes?
be the big bad at one point. He's not going to do that again, I don't think.
Chelsea,
Who
that's
do you-
another mark.
Yeah.
I made a Tolus reference, and I wasn't even part of the game. I was already working on it, but I heard the blue eyes. I heard.
The question is, who do you think, if any of us got turned to be the villain, who do you think would be the most terrifying? I vote Rosie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be horrible.
For what?
No.
Shit.
If any one of us were to turn villain,
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that'd be chaotic and awesome at the same time.
just
Just be
say
sassing
play
all
with
of
the
us.
rats.
Well, we're gonna go and say hi to our friends over at Perception Studio. They have rated us before, which was amazing. So we'll go and watch some puppets.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Where's Pip when you need him?
Committing murder.
So please come along with us to raid. Jesus Christ! Come along with us to raid Perception Studios. If you have
We're
never
world
seen
building.
Perception Studios, they are amazing. They play. They're puppeteers. They are professional puppeteers that play as their puppets. And there's a lot of amazing things. If you ever want to spend $50, you can give one of the puppets GM powers for 1 solid minute. The last time I saw it, the very last thing the puppet said was, "Oh yeah, and my character throws a rock into the entrance to the dungeon and trips every trap that exists." So
It's
they are very
amazing,
hilarious.
guys.
Let's go ahead and go and say hi over there. Thank you everyone for coming along. Really appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.